This is Culture Crime Fighters. We are a culture crimes task force so powerful, so far-reaching, not even the most dastardly of villains can escape. Our goal is to identify and defeat all culture criminals wherever they lurk and destroy them. For too long have these cretins carried out their nefarious deeds, and we will sit for it no longer. Beware, you may commit your culture crimes, but if you do, justice will be served at the hands of the Culture Crime Fighters.
Hell. Vigilante Wednesday on the 9th episode of said Culture Crime Fighters, and I'm happy to be here, man. How you doing?
I am good. I am tired. I have not slept much for the past 2 days. My body keeps waking me up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and then won't let me go back to bed. So it's been kind of rough. Yeah. So I'm just all wonky and off and trying to get back to a sleep schedule that makes any kind of sense. But I'm doing okay. How you doing?
I'm pretty tired myself. Had a pretty busy day. Getting something like I've been working on off my plate. So that I think I told you about it. I had like a test or something, and I finally did that today. And so now I'm hoping to focus more on this and the channel and go full board with YouTube again, because the past month and a half I've not been able to. So that's good, but I'm pretty tired. I'm not gonna lie. So this is gonna be a tired edition of the Culture Crime Fighters, but we're still here for you, and it's good to see at the chat. It's open. Ascension Dildo is already at it. He said hot yoga ain't helping, Matt. So
that's funny. I actually at the job I just started working at, some woman came in and gave us like free hour yoga session passes, and I think I'm gonna take her up on it.
Yeah.
So I thought it was actually pretty funny.
So he is gonna be doing hot yoga, Ascension Dildo.
Yeah, so make all your little jokes, make your little snarky comments.
Yeah, yoga mat. There goes Grin. That's clever.
I get it. What's the fellas? I'm off base. I'm trying to set up the stream elements as we talk. Something I should have done before. They're making me anyway. What's going on, guys? We got APM is here. Hello, APM.
How's
it going? It looks like I'm probably roboting. I apologize.
You go in and out. Most part you're good, but then a robot word or two.
This YouTube, this Wi-Fi needs to be. I need to fix this problem. It's a real hassle. Anywho, APM is here. Ascension Dildo, Snorted Pupus Q Burr, Robert, Lord Thoth, Hail Lord Thoth, Grinakuma, Ascension Dildo, and Brightest Day, Hail.
The Wake Down.
The Wake Down. The Wake Down. Good, man. What's happening? That's great. Now I can finally read that super chat that he gave me on the cocktail lounge that I didn't get to. Very bad about. All right.
Just for you, Wake Down, your super chat.
Yeah, and he doesn't even care.
Forgotten.
I saw him in another chat, and I said something about it. He's like, I don't care, and I was like, I do. Like if someone sent me, if I said someone a super chat and they didn't read it, I'd be like, that's kind of the whole point.
No, we will remember about it. Wake Down. We provide a good service here at the Culture Crime Fighters. Top quality service. Whoever we miss a super chat, we will get to it one way or another.
Damn right. And I'm trying to find I am wait, is that it? No. Oh my god. I'm off balance today's. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'll vamp while you figure it out. Hail Mech 1164 says you're usually late, but not today, and we appreciate it. So hail everybody. Hail, I mean, really hail you guys. You guys, I know Ascension Dildo's already going to give himself a pat on the back, but the rest of you guys should too. We appreciate you being here. We already got 6 likes, and Wake Down doesn't even remember what he said. Well, you will be reminded, sir. Good sir or madam. I think you're a sir, though. I'm 90% sure you're a
sir. You know what? In my channel, you can just assume it's a sir, because there's very few women that watch.
I'm in the same boat. In fact, I know for the longest time it just said 100% men, even though I know there's a couple of girls that just still said nope.
Yeah, I see the Islington girl in your chats and stuff like that.
Yeah, the Islington girl. Tia Martin used to show up. I don't know what happened to her.
People come in and out.
Yeah.
Manolo Rivera is here. New Bomb Turk. Hail, both of you. Oh, that 70s rock fan. Hello.
Hell, that 70s rock fan.
He's got a channel, right? 70s?
I think he does.
I think he does. Go give him a look. All right. I found the Wake Down super chat. This is from the Cocktail Lounge. Just like this was that towards the end too. So, and there was just so much going on. The room was so busy. We were talking so much. But he said for $5, thank you with the Wake Down. I'll never look like Chris Hemsworth, Idris Elba, or Sigourney Weaver, but I never needed to in order to believe in or identify with their characters.
Yeah.
And that was about the conversation. But yeah, I agree. And we've talked about this a lot. I 100% think that whole, you need to look like me. You need to share my identity for me in order for me to enjoy the content is a myth.
It is a myth. Think about it. How long has that been said? Just the past 4 or 5 years or whatever?
Yeah.
The entire whole of the entertainment industry was okay. You know what I mean? In the past 4 or 5 years, it changed. It's complete bullshit.
It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like, so you only can enjoy entertainment from your exact identity? Like,
doesn't that defeat part of the purpose of entertainment and escapism?
And culture.
Yeah. It's supposed to be something you don't know or you're not. Like, that's like saying why I can't watch football because I'm not a good NFL player.
Right.
Like a football
player. Or you know, like you couldn't enjoy hockey because you're black and it's all white guys. Yeah. And it's like, that's so ridiculous. And it's like Grit Akuma is from, where's he from? Finland? And huge anime fan.
Yeah.
Well,
no, he can't be because he's not Japanese.
He's not Japanese.
How can he connect to these characters? I don't understand.
It's impossible. You can't do it unless you see yourself one for one in your entertainment.
There's no basis for it in history. Like there's no. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, and it doesn't make any sense. And what frustrates me so much is it's kind of like what Young Ripa talks about, the race hustlers, which I guess is like a Thomas Sowell terminology. Mm-hmm. But it's like it's like the people who like found that idea, who like come up with it, like they know it's not true, but they just use it to propagate their agenda.
Very true. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. Unfortunately, though, there's that useful idiot class that doesn't know it's not true, and they just, even when given evidence that is not true, they just still propagate the spam. You know, you're just a bigot, or you just have internalized bigotry if you are the group,
right?
Which is so insane to me.
It is insane, and it's like, and it's really irresponsible. Like, it's so despicable to mislead people with these lies. Like there's the most recent police shooting case that people were, like you said, we're all right. Here's the next one. Let's all gear up for this. And then you see the body cam footage, and the girl had a knife and was about to stab someone else. And, he just actually was a good police action.
Yeah.
And, we're not here to debate that. But what I do want to talk about is just the fact that it's like the people who are so already out, they know this. The people who start the outrage, who break the story, they know the reality of the case when they send it out there. Absolutely. And that's what's just so despicable to me.
Yeah, just like this we're going to talk about it because we have to. We're obliged by life to talk about the Chauvin thing. If you remember,
let me just pause that real quick.
I just had
I got a 20-pound super chat from APM. A little rain from the beginning of the show. He's making it rain. Thank you very much, APM. I really appreciate it. You are a very loyal supporter of this channel, and I value you very much. You're too generous, and I really, really appreciate it. So thank you, brother. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, man.
Great to see you. So please.
Oh, so one point you made a point about how they know the story, and I was just going to add the point about the body cam footage for the Floyd incident that wasn't released until months later. Why? Only the Most High knows that. It just wasn't released until till everything was already burnt down. So, and a lot of the elements of the case that were relevant weren't released, even though I didn't pay any attention to the trial. And yeah, the next day we got a new one. We got a new one to toss at you guys. Just like before that case, they had Ahmaud Arbery. They've been doing this the entire time. Let's keep let's do this race war. We want to make this race war. Part of it's just ratings. You know, you have a bunch of media organizations that can get clicks, and they've never gotten over that OJ high of being able to trigger. Seriously,
that's funny,
these media companies have never gotten over the OJ high of being able to get all of that attention. And then you had the Trump thing for 4 years. That was the closest thing they got since. And now they're like, oh, we can just keep doing this race baiting thing and hopefully get news, hopefully get, clicks.
Yeah, it's like I grew up in the East Coast. I grew up in New Jersey, and like every year, sometimes a few times a year, there was always the big storm was coming in, the big end of the world storm, and they would scare people and rile them up. And I think like 1 out of 20 they predicted was actually like a serious storm, but they're never so serious it really shuts anything down. It's just like it's just the media overhyping it. Ryan Long has a great skit out right now from like talking about, he's like a blogger, like a Trump blogger who like doesn't have anything to get mad about. It's like he's just like an addict. Like, do you have you got any Trump anything? You have anything for me to get outraged about? Like, he's just like he can't, like, it's they act like they hated him, but they loved him because it just gave him like all the opportunity to just be so outraged and just stir the conversation up. And I guess like, I kind of understand from one angle in the sense that, we need topics to talk about, right? We've become topical YouTubers. That's sort of what we do. So we do need fodder for conversation. And I guess at times, you can reach and you can look at things like the whole Kathleen Kennedy being out at Lucasfilm thing is not really a story. It's just speculation. So I understand.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I understand the needing to have stuff, but it's the lack of soul behind the way that they do it, that the mainstream media does it, or the corporate media, I think, as Michael Mallon puts it, the corporate media does it, is disturbing on a whole other level. Agree,
because it's outright malicious and propaganda-esque. I was just going to add, as far as another story that I thought was a reach, and I covered it on the Vigilante Williamson show, which is on my channel. Shameless plug. Should sub to me, and actually, if you like this show, you should sub to me because it's going to be on my channel next week.
Right?
But, yes,
you should sub to Edge anyways. He's Vigilante and he's awesome.
That's also awesome. But the damn Captain America thing, that was such a non-story. It was such a we were supposed to no sell that. That was only rage bait. We should have said, fuck it. But I get it. I'm not knocking anyone. I kind of covered it myself. But they had the Black Captain. They have this, not the Captain America with Falcon Winter Soldier thing. I mean, that's covering TV. But they can't. Hell, Jake D just sent a super sticker. I didn't know Jake D was around. Shout out to Jake D.
Hell, Jake D. Thank you very much. 149 super sticker. Oh, and then following up with Eric K. $2. I'm trying to see what super sticker he sent. I'm going back to the chat.
Unicorn.
It's a unicorn. Oh, is it the phallic unicorn?
Phallic unicorn.
Thank you. And then Eric K for $2 super chat. Thank you very much. Blah blah blah. No blah 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 blah. Yeah,
that's modern media.
That's true.
That's modern media.
They so predictable. Yeah, sorry, I don't want to cut your.
No, because I'm just rambling anyway. Oh man, not everyone's sending super stickers.
Cool. I love it. And APM sent me a $10 super chat. I'm gonna have to go back and cover. Yes.
Okay.
I think it's if it's hello, the Islington girl, by the way. Love to see you.
Hell.
Lovely that you're here.
It's a hot dog.
Or it's a hot dog?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it's a hot dog. Delicious. I'll take this $1.49 and buy myself a hot dog with that. Thank you. Thank you very much. And let me go back to APM sticker real quick. Thank you very much for the 10 pounds super chat. Thank you so much. 2 in a row. It says, and I hope everyone has read Douglas Murray's books, The Strange Death of Europe and The Madness of Crowds. If not, go. Matt, I DM'd you on Twitter. I just now saw that. I didn't know. Thank you for pointing that out because I might not have noticed it because it was a message request came through like that. I guess my DMs aren't open. But thank you very much, brother. I will check it out and I will get back to you. As far as these books, I don't know anything about them. Do you?
I don't either. No, I've never heard of them until now. So I have to check them out.
Yeah, me neither. I have to. I want to
And
look
real
up.
quick, Islington Crow, you did not destroy the sausage party, despite being the entire female audience for both of our channels. It'll still show it as 100% male. At least for me, it just shows 100% male. No
I
matter
have
how many
another
videos you
Gen.
watch.
Another Gen 42 shows up.
Okay.
That's a girl. That's another girl. And I
Yeah.
think Moira Kitty.
Maury Kitty will show up, and Jennifer Cisco will show up.
Jennifer Cisco, of course.
Sometimes Rowan Ginger Raven. So there's
Rowan Ginger Raven. Ginger.
Ginger, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. But if we can name all of them,
yeah. Yeah. There's that.
So I'm looking up Douglas Murray, and he's a British author and political commentator. He founded the Center for Social Cohesion in 2007, which if it was like someone else, if this was like, from the liberal, or like the corporate media, I would assume that their goal would be the absolute opposite of social cohesion. But he's written a whole bunch, lots of different publications. Author of Neoconservatism, Why We Need It in 2005. Murray has been described as a conservative, a neoconservative, and a critic of Islam. His views and ideology have been linked. Oh, this is the smear campaign. His views and ideology have been linked to far-right political ideologies by a number of academic and journalistic sources. Ooh, far-right academic.
They're academic and journalistic sources, man.
Ooh.
That means they must be right.
Yeah, lightning should strike when you hear that. Far-right political ideologies. He is also... sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I don't know anything about Douglas Murray. For all I know, he's a fucking, crazy psychopath. But because of how numb we are to those, phrases and how, misused they are, even academic sources. What the fuck does that mean?
What does that mean? Right.
Blue-haired teacher on TikTok.
I mean, well, okay, first of all, he's gay. It just says that in his personal life. So it's okay, yeah, I'm sure he's a real far-right lunatic.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, those pejoratives are so overly used, and they just basically mean oh, I don't like what you say, is what it comes down to so often. Yeah. So I don't know anything about him. I'm gonna check him out.
Yeah.
Because APM APM's never come across to me as anyone who's a far right, aggressive. He's been chatting me for a little while here, and I just do not get that impression. So I'll have to take a look. APM. Yeah, thanks for the recommendation. I have to throw that on my ever-growing list of things to get to, which I am trying to do more and more. I haven't forgot Grinakuma's anime recommendations or any of the movies from last time with the something soldier, whatever. It's on the list. I have it.
I need to make a list of stuff.
You should, because it comes up. People have lots of different recommendations, and I feel like APM says I'm gay. Ha. Yeah, I don't get the far right impression off of you, APM. But we do get so many recommendations. You kind of do need to keep a list, and it's.
Yeah, I'm not that organized. If you can send me that anime list, I would like that.
I'll send it to you. Sure. Yeah, I have it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll start a docs just in case something gets recommended through the show and just keep it going. Right. Might as well start it now because Unknown Soldier apparently is.
Okay. Unknown Soldier. Yeah,
that'll go on the list.
Oh my God, that looks so good. Yeah. So back to the whole Chauvin thing. It's the media and the media and the way they're covering it. I find it repugnant because of how unilateral it is. The only person I saw questioning the narrative was Candace Owens, and it's okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
what else would I expect? But I don't think she's wrong, but it is just okay, well, that's almost, she almost should go along with it just to throw him a curveball or something, just to kind of shake the scent of, it's the media says one thing, she says the opposite, and they're just both playing their parts, even though I believe her conviction more than I believe theirs.
Yeah. And that's part of the reason they do such a unilateral thing. So somebody who's always opposing, they look kind of oh, well, of course they oppose. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It almost invalidates opposing opinions in that way. Not only are they, the minority, they're the crazy person, and they always do this. The media is always wrong. We get it,
Right. And it's and Yeah, it's just the way things are set up now. It's like it's so tricky, but I mean, I believed her conviction when she said it. I do think she's one of those people though who's too uncompromising,
Mhm.
like that when she's right kind of gets lumped in with when she's wrong as well because I don't know, she doesn't double back and she's a little overly confident. Anyway, whatever. It's not a Candace Owens conversation. It's just that was the only voice that was like, huh, like that was a little fast. Like
Mhm.
we're so sure and this, that, and the other. But the media is just like at the place I'm working at today, they have all these TVs on and they had ESPN on and all these,
Mhm.
all these different like sports channels. And it was constant. I mean, the cover, it was all day long,
Uh,
constant coverage. And I thought it was kind of funny because it did seem like there was a little bit of disappointment in the media that they didn't get to cover riots for the next like 3 months.
yeah. Oh my God, people are not going to lose their jobs and lives and have everything burnt down, and we get to make more money off of it. Fuck.
Yeah, they did
Fuck.
seem a bit bummed out by that, which I thought was kind of
Yeah.
funny. But I don't know. I have just so much fatigue for the topic. I mean, as we're talking about, I'm just like, I just want to move on.
Hey, yeah, I'm ready to move on because it's not something the opposite. I've completely ignored this story as far as the trial goes. Obviously, everyone knew about what happened, but the trial has been like I've only heard tangential people like talking about it, and they would start discussing details. I don't know. I don't even know. I know so little. I don't even know if the verdict is valid or not. A lot of people are obviously saying it's not. I know that people are saying stuff about stuff that Maxine Waters said, coercing jurors and shit. My actual opinion, I gave again, another plug for the show. I said, fuck everybody involved. Just fuck it. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Life is short and it's hard. And if you think the stuff that you talk about and the stuff that you pay attention to doesn't impact your headspace, that you don't know about how human psychology works. So it's like, I can't focus on this shit and still
Yeah.
live. And I refuse to. So I've been ignoring it pretty easily.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think that's a very
go ahead.
wise point. I just think it's a very wise way to look at the world. It doesn't mean be a sheep. It doesn't mean, like be an ostrich and put your head in the sand. You know what I mean? Like, but it does mean like, we are all going to die one day, like,
Yeah.
and if you just spent your whole life being outraged about whatever the thing is, even if you're right, it's like, are you going to look back on your life and be like, that was time well spent? I'm glad I was always upset and stressed out and, losing my mind over things I can't control and being mad at the world. And, like I said, I don't think you should not participate, but
Yeah.
in moderation.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, and part of this is just being a little bit of a conspiracy theorist. When certain stories just reek of like manipulation, I'm just like, okay, I'm done because I know everything's being manipulated narrative
Right.
wise. So there's nothing to view. And you kind of brought up a good point with the whole Candace Owens because there's always that, there's a baked in opposite opinion as well, not only of any story. You know what I mean? I found it interesting how many people cared about Chauvin. I felt like this, like a lot of people got triggered to a side.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think a lot of people, there's no shame in saying I don't give a fuck, especially when it's a national news story. And I think people don't recognize that. Like you said, is everywhere. Everybody else who's a normie who watches regular TV, unlike me, they see it on ESPN. They'll see it on the news. They'll see it on anything. They'll see a commercial about it, and it's always there. And so then they're like, oh man, I have to think something. Oh man, Chauvin's a fucking demon. I can't believe what he did. Or, oh my God, this is an unfair trial. And I can't believe it's a kangaroo court. It's like, no. Chill. You have whatever's going on in your life is way more important than whatever they're telling you to care about.
Yeah. And the thing that was very frustrating for me today was the fact that when I woke up, I went to the gym. The gym I work out at has all these TVs, and it's like, CSN, CNN, MSNBC, NBC, Fox, like all, and like and ESPN, and every single one is covering it. And then later on, when I went to work, all these TVs were on, and they're all covering it. I couldn't tune out. I didn't have the choice to not, mentally be involved with it, and that sucked. Just from a personal point of view, because I like to very much choose what media and what things I consume. but it also gives you insight into the people that are just like obsessed about this, because it's like, if you turn those sources on and you trust in what they're saying and you believe in the words that you're hearing, yeah, I think it would make you like a lunatic. Like, I think it would make you crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that. We joke about a lot of stuff, but a lot of it is because of brainwashing, and it's because of the main, like, if you're a 20-year-old normal, let's say you're a woke 20-year-old, which may be a lot of 20-year-olds. I know there's a higher percentage of conservatives amongst young people than any other generation, but that's still a low percentage overall. Still think 25-30%. So let's say you're an average woke 20-year-old, you're on Twitter all the damn time, getting that narrative spun into your head. Then you're watching all the mainstream sources, and all your friends are giving you the same narrative. And then, somebody says that this reboot of a show that's woke sucks, and then you're like, read. Or somebody says something about pronouns, you're like, read, because you've been wound up tight by all these different sources. That's all you know is this woke bubble that you've been in.
Yes. It's like, to them, it's like, heresy.
Yeah.
They can't even imagine that you think that. It's a horrifying like crack in their reality, and it just speaks to the culture. There's just a lack of respect for critical thinking. There's a lack of respect for healthy debate, informed debate. Like, I think, I don't know this, but I'm fairly certain that like one of the principles in, like, if you were to take like debate class, is to really be able to understand both arguments and argue for and against both. And that is literally not a thing that can happen in our polarized world now. And look, I think right now in the media, it's the left. We get the left all day long, but there are pockets in the country where the right, it's the same thing. It's just, and they're in their own echo chamber, at their own bubble, and they're as unreasonable, with certain things. It's like did you hear the My Pillow guy is starting a social media network?
I did not.
He got roasted. It was actually fucking hilarious. But he's starting a new social media network called Frank, where it's supposed to be frank discussion. However, on his free speech platform, there will be no cursing, and additionally, no taking the Lord's name in vain.
Okay, so no one's okay. Good. I hope he makes it. I make it. Spend all that money. Get the infrastructure going. Do all the marketing. Please do it. Do it. Go ahead.
What is?
You make cursing? A pillow, dude. Chill. Like, what? This is no better than, because I guess he's conservative. Some people, he's for our side. We don't have a side, so he's just some dude who he's got himself triggered. He's in the conversation, and I'm sure I use that same analogy about the woke 20-year-old. I'm sure there's guy, he's getting his Twitter or whatever his social media has people. Yeah, you're a patriot. You're whatever. You're the man. My Pillow guy. I don't even know this dude's name. You're
Mike Lindell.
Mike Lindell, you're for America, whatever the fuck you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus, dude.
It's crazy. It's weird because it's just like, dude, you sound like such an asshole. Like, I want to be on your side because you're so vilified for daring to like Trump and question the other, question the official narrative and all that. But then you say something like that. It's like, dude, so you're just like the woke people. Like, if you were in charge, you would still want to force people to be like you. Like, you don't believe in freedom either. And it's like, so shut up. Like, I mean, look, believe it if you want, but don't act like you're so righteous.
Yeah.
And you're the only one on the correct side of the conversation. It's just it's so gross. And I guess so he had he was all proud of launching his social media network, which I think is up. I think it's up. I heard Parler's coming back too.
It's actually already back, I believe.
Okay, so that's rad. I think that Parler, I'm all for a Parler. That's great. But he was doing I guess a live show or whatever, and he had the phone number out there, and people were pranking him, and they were pretty fucking funny. Let me see if I can find them because they're
I just looked it up. Actually, Frank's speech. It's
Okay.
down though. There's a message saying thank you for visiting Frank. He says there's 2 billion requests in 2 days. I don't believe him. The Frank speech experiment is a massive success for you. Right now, we're working on new features. Keep checking back. So you're telling me Parler, which at its peak, because it Parler got kind of big before they shut it down, was nowhere near 100 million. I don't believe. So you had 2 billion requests. Come on, bro.
Yeah, that
Jesus
2 billion. What a fucking liar.
Come on, man.
Shut up.
And here's another thing I keep thinking: don't Democrats buy pillows too, dude? Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, yeah, but he's so wrapped
He's too far
up
down
in the
that.
whole,
He's too far down that rabbit hole.
and he's not a business. It's not about business. It's not even like. I mean, I don't know the founders of Parler, but my impression is that they really do just want a genuine free speech platform where it's like, we're not going to censor you based on your political side. But I think this guy just wants a conservative version of all these things.
Yeah.
So let me share.
That's fine. But
what's that?
Minds exist. That's a platform. That's
Minds
okay.
exists. Yeah.
Like
That's the thing. Everyone's trying to start their own thing, which, I kind of understand, but like, I feel like there should be more collaboration going on. Like all these new streaming services. Like, how about like, why wouldn't like
one?
Yeah, how about like Stars and Paramount like team up with Hulu or team up with you know what I mean? Like instead of having each one being its own streaming service, it's like you guys are so greedy, you're destroying this entire industry.
Well, some of them are starting to, because Sony just went with Netflix and they just said, "Fuck it, we're just going to get on Netflix," and that might happen.
That's what they should do. That's smart.
MGM is going to. There's no word that MGM will, but I don't see why they would even think about doing anything different. I think more companies are going to do what Sony did instead of coming up with their own platform. But go ahead into your story. You were going to bring up
No. I mean, I was going to share a video, but Grinakuma says he dislikes neocons and Bible thumpers as much as I hate the woke left. Yeah, I mean, listen,
me both, bro.
They're both insufferable, and quite frankly, I hate to say this, but the woke neocons and the Bible thumpers, they were the first like cancel culture people.
Yeah, they were.
They would organize, before the internet. They would go through like the Catholic League and like we're outraged about
burning
this,
books, burning albums and shit.
Yeah,
on Snoop Dogg's album and shit.
Yep. And so they're as irritating. It's anyone who wants to just reshape the world in their image is fucking annoying.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, and then, like that's the problem. That's where you find yourself like you kind of grab, you hate the woke so much, right? So you go in the other direction, and you get there, and you're like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, you gotta find your own. Because there's always some asshole. Well, I'm right, so clearly I'm right and perfect, so I'll just do everything.
Yeah,
I'm the smartest.
All right, let me share this video with you because it's Mike Lindell doing his big launch. So the big launch of his I guess I don't know if it's a social media network or like he's trying to also have like an Amazon competitor.
Whoa, he's doing way too much, man.
I mean, slow down, bro.
Get your pillows, bro.
Just chill. All right.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Go ahead, sir. Hello, everyone.
We have the president here, our real president, everyone. Hello, Mr. President.
MacronShow.com, bitches.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it is. Do you know why it was funny? The way he looked at the phone.
Yes.
Beforehand. No, not after. Before. He looked so lovingly. Like, yes. Like his God was about to speak to him. Look at him. Look at his face. He's so excited.
Goodness. Daddy's here. Daddy's here.
Yeah. See, this is why they made fun of Trump supporters. If you are someone in the chat and you like Trump, like, why do they make fun of us? This motherfucker right here.
Like the OK Boomer meme is one of the funniest memes. Like it's just because there is something about the boomers where it's like they're not wrong, but they're still out of touch.
Yeah.
And you just you got to tease them because it's like they don't understand technology and they can't communicate what they want. And they, like like tweets with misspellings, and they, like it's
shit. I'm a boomer. I'd fucking tweet this show without putting you in. I'm like, oh wait, I'm supposed to ask you to just sit there and tweet. 'Cause I'm a boomer with it. I know I'm out of touch with shit, and I just accept it and embrace it. And it's part
I have
of
I have 30 followers on Twitter. I honestly, the only time I ever tweet or retweet is when one of you, like you or Nick, tags me in something. Then I don't even bother. But I want to finish the rest of this because it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
MacronShow.com, bitches.
Okay.
All right.
I
Sorry,
guess that
folks.
wasn't. I guess that was. You see what they're doing? They're attacking us. And this is what. I mean, it even came up. They're attacking into our phones. It came up that it was a legitimate number.
Call.
A legitimate. I know the number's coming from.
bro.
He tried to make it sound like we didn't get tricked. Well, I know what number Trump calls from, and that is the number I thought it was gonna be. You got dude. You got. Just own it.
That's hilarious.
I guess recently, what's his name? What is his name? Ted Nugent, did this kind of COVID denying speech or whatever. And it was about he's like, well, how come COVID 15, 16, 17 weren't a big deal? And you're just like, oh boy. That's the kind of mistake someone made a year and a half ago. But you gotta, once you do stuff like that, you just gotta own it. All right, you got me. I wanted that to be Trump. It wasn't. You got me. That's funny. It is. It's funny. Just roll with it. Don't act like an idiot. Just be like, all right, egg on my face. And then the story will be over.
Yeah. And they don't do that. I see Jake D says the crazies of left and right wing are nuts. They just want to control people in different ways. Yeah. Or control people in the same way using different tactics to get there. Because it's all authoritarianism.
It is all authoritarianism. And it's all just my worldview needs to be the way everybody is. It's the same thing.
Yeah. There are 7 billion motherfuckers on this planet. They all don't agree with you. Get over it.
Yeah, I'm very much a live and let live kind of guy. The woke people, honestly, I don't, your personal identities and your personal politics, I don't really give a shit what they are. I really don't mind. And I'm fascinated by people. I think it's interesting. It's the lack of liberty they're willing to extend to others that I have a real big problem with. It's if we have to just agree, I went to an open mic last night, I didn't perform, but I was there, but there were, it was funny. And there was some but there's still, cause it's Austin, there's still that kind of, we all agree on this point. Right. And I'm like,
Clapter. Is that what it's called?
Clapter.
Yeah.
And and I hate that because if you don't have their point of view, then they have an issue with it. It's this whole city is not a party I was invited to. It's a town that I'm allowed to live in. And it's it's, if I don't agree with your politics, I should still be able to be treated with human respect. I don't know.
Goodness.
Call me crazy.
Part of me now wants to go to a conservative area and act really woke, and then go into a woke area and act really conservative to troll both sides. That's now a goal now. Maybe I should do that for the channel. At some point.
I think, a sketch, a skit. Yeah. I would watch that. I think Bill Burr said that. He said if he lived in a real conservative part of the country, he'd probably antagonize their beliefs. And he was talking to Anthony Cumia about how he's Cumia was talking about moving somewhere more free, and he goes, "You'd hate it, dude." He goes, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, you just go off about your thing," and the guy be like, "Yeah, man, I hear you." And then you'd have nothing to get upset about.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny. My brother last summer, he had went with a lot of his buddies. I want to say Montana, one of those states in the middle of nowhere. And everybody was mega conservative and yelling about the Dems and shit. And it's what the fuck? Who cares? You're in the middle. I'm thinking you're in Montana. What problems do you have? Everywhere else is burning up. Not here. You're good. You guys are good.
Yeah, for me personally, it would be refreshing to hear someone just kind of publicly trashing the left. But at the same time, it's like, oh, so if I have any kind of disagreement with you, it's going to be just as poorly received as if I was in, San Francisco.
Yes,
Like
now,
that.
if I disagree with you, I'm a libtard. I get it.
That's what it is. And that's the thing. And it's like, because you're so free to speak out loud everywhere you go. And, it's like, oh, okay, well, then this is that echo chamber. And it's like, I don't want to live in an echo chamber. It's scary.
Yeah. It's almost like you want to live in a country that's based upon freedom, that's a melting pot of cultures and identities. Oh, wait. I think we all here are supposed to be one. And the war for like 200 fucking years. With issues, with tons of fucking issues that never quite ended and may never quite end on a perfect level because nothing in life is perfect. But for the most part, it have been pretty solved. This is still one of the richest countries, if not the richest country on earth, despite everything. Because luckily every other country's dollar is crashing too. So I don't know. I'm in a life is not perfect, but it's not that bad type of mood. I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to. I'm tired of everyone and their bullshit.
I just, when I was a kid, when I was younger, in high school or whatever, like after high school, like the best parties were always the ones where it wasn't one dominant group, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if it was one clique's party and you were a guest at that party, it sucked because they were all just hanging out, having fun, doing their own thing. But like if you went to a party where there were multiple cliques there and everyone kind of had to commingle, those were the best parties because no one was being excluded. Everyone was having fun. It was like a good, kind of everyone's just, on their best behavior. But it's like when you get into an area where, you're in their territory and you're not of that kind, that's when it gets dicey. And that's universal. And that's the kind of thing that it's like, I'm just not for that. Like, I don't want to participate in that. Like, I always thought when I, left the suburbs, it was a bit of a homogenous environment. I didn't love it. I didn't fit in. I looked for refuge in the cities, but I just found other cliques and, it's the same kind of conformity. Just actually on a higher scale, like on a much more dramatic and aggressive scale. So that was a bit disappointing. I do hope we can get back to the place where literally all kinds of people can be embraced and you can have open and free conversations and you don't need to conform at all.
Yeah. And apparently I'm being correct. I did say one of, I'm not sure. I said one of, if not the richest, because Cinchin Dildo said he thinks Norway is the richest country, and Robert says,
is that like per capita?
It may be rich, per capita. I don't know what he's using.
Because Norway has all that oil, right?
I don't know what Norway has because I'm a dumb American, don't know anything about any other country.
Yeah, I'm pretty ignorant too.
But polar, what was it Robert said? Polar Bearconda is the richest nation. Bearconda forever. It's that. Shout out to Snorter Poopus Q.
Yeah, is he simping for Snorter Poopus?
Yeah. I simp a little for Snorter Poopus. Hello, Snorter Poopus.
I love seeing Snorter Poopus. I heard him get a shout out on I don't know. One of the channels I was listening to, and I was like, Snorter Poopus. Yep.
And I guess since you do those saying it's per capita.
Per capita. Well, that's not the same thing, but I mean, that's it's. I guess they have all this oil money in Norway. Yeah,
did not know that. It was good for the Norwegians.
Good for them, I guess. Yeah. All right. Do you want to move on to the Shang-Chi?
Yeah.
How do you say it?
Shang-Chi?
Is
gonna get I don't know. I'm hoping that's it. I don't want to get canceled for mispronouncing somebody's name.
Oh my god, that's racist.
Yeah.
Can I get like a phonetic pronunciation from the chat, please? If anyone knows, if thoughts, you'll know.
Did you see the trailer by chance?
No. Do you want to watch it?
Yeah, I liked the trailer, and I'll watch it.
I tell you what, man. I keep getting all these freaking copyright strikes on like trailer reactions. I'm glad to watch it. I don't mind, but it's YouTube. Something's going on with YouTube, man. Because like I used to. It's so funny. I just opened up my homepage, and there's one of Gary's videos is George R.R. Martin with a speech bubble that says "I'm Tokens, bitch." That's funny. But yeah, no, I'm getting all these
Yeah,
Like,
I get it. If you
copyright
don't,
strikes, but they're not clearing up. Normally they clear up within like,
couple
usually
days.
pretty soon, or like content suitability things, same thing. But now, no, dude, and I cannot increase my subscriber base to save my life. I'm putting out videos and I like, they're trailer reactions, so I understand it's a bit like vanilla content, but still, like, usually it garners 1, 2
Yeah.
news. I'm going down, and I cannot believe it. And it's like my last few live streams, like the Cocktail Lounge numbers are down, like the MFers numbers are down. Like that could just be the waves of the universe, but all together, it seems I'm just like.
It's funny you mentioned that because yesterday I did the Vigilante Williamson show, like the trillionth plug for it. But like I usually have more people in the stream than when they're only like 8 to 10 people. Usually it's almost
weird,
20
right?
or sometimes more than that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's going on? But I'm like, people are busy. I started at a different time, a little earlier. Maybe maybe it's just the way of the world.
Way of the world.
It could be. I think there is something up with YouTube.
I think something's going on because I try to chalk it up to that kind of thing because I try not to like do any like it is what it is. Like I don't want to get down or up based on how it's going. Just like and generally my old YouTube career, like just consistent work has garnered consistent growth. Like as long as I keep doing the streams and as long as I keep putting out videos at least relatively regularly, I get it. But like my numbers, they will not go up. It's crazy. Like they'll go up and then they'll go back down and they'll go up and they'll go back down. I'm like, what is happening? Why doesn't anyone fucking like me?
Doesn't anyone know? It feels like I'm taking crazy pills. No, I don't know. I think there is something with YouTube because I've heard other people complain. They did admit that something funky was going on in the likes. I'm not sure if you saw that.
I did.
And
that was nuts. That was weird.
Robert has a good suggestion. You can always put red-eyed Brie Larson in the thumbnail.
I could try. And then it'll just be me and Vig talking about how we do her.
Yeah. Back in the day, I don't know about now. She's looking.
Is she looking a little rough now?
I know. And I mean, I know in my 30s, I need to be going after the moms, but it's just like she's too annoying to not be like at her absolute hottest.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point. That's funny. Yeah, that's funny.
I mean, the average chick that look like that I'll be happy, but it's like you can't. Be like that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like her personality brings her down a lot.
Yes,
and she'd be impossible. Yeah. The Islington girl says Bree doesn't like men. Apparently, I hadn't heard that.
I know she hates 40-year-old white guys. I don't know what the hell she plans on dating now that she's like a 35-year-old white woman, but sure.
She's got the charisma of Lycan.
I mean, man, that's the thing. She has no charisma at all.
Seriously. It's like, it's nothing. She doesn't sparkle. She's not like, she reeks of insincerity.
She's not even that good of an actress. Unless she's playing a very bitchy character in which, she can do that.
I haven't really seen much of her work. I just know she exploded after that movie, The Room or whatever it was, about the sex slave woman who had a kid or something. They're praising her like she's like the next Meryl Streep. I don't know. I only really knew her from Scott Pilgrim, and I thought she was great in that. But that's Edgar Wright. He makes everyone look great.
Yeah, I really only knew her from Scott Pilgrim and then obviously Captain Marvel. Isn't the girl said she had a coming out video on her channel? Really? Maybe it was for clicks. I didn't know that.
This is news to me.
I'm glad I don't know that. I talked a little bit earlier about how we need to just stop paying attention to shit. If that indeed happened, I'm glad it did not get like everyone in the cover. Oh, did you see Brie Larson do this? Like, fuck her.
She does. She's so funny though. Like she's just like, it's so easy to laugh at her. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it is nice to not know. Like, sometimes I remember,
like the cucumber thing was funny.
It's all hilarious to me because it's just she just has no clue. I don't see anything on her video. She's teaching Tessa Thompson how to play Fortnite.
Ugh. That was authentically done.
There's nothing about that sounds appealing. Like, it's Brie Larson, teaching Tessa Thompson, how to play Fortnite. You're like, oh God, it's like a toxic triumvirate.
This is a corporately sponsored video brought to you by Fortnite.
100%. Fortnite did promotion for the Roots of Soywoker.
Yeah.
But I don't see, because they had they had what was it? The Emperor Palpatine, the Empire.
Yeah, sure did.
I don't see anything from her. It's amazing. Like her numbers are nothing what someone as famous as her should get, but it's still incredible that she doesn't do shit and all her videos still have 200, 300,000 views.
Really, I'm honestly slightly impressed.
I kind of thought it would drop off a lot harder. But I don't see any coming out videos. This honestly looks like a vlog, though. Just someone who's just hi guys. So today I went shopping and I bought this new top and it was really cute. And the guy behind the counter was so nice. And I was geeking out. It doesn't seem like there's anything here. It's just some girl talking about her life. But it's so pretentious because the whole reason anyone's here is because you're Brie Larson, the movie star. So show us part of your movie star life, but you're trying to have this grounded, real life. Oh, ugh. Gross. No, I don't see anything about her coming out. If she did, I fully support her. I 100%. She's stunning and brave.
Good luck, ladies. If she did, good luck. And
yeah, I feel bad for you guys.
Yes. Oh boy. Newbound Turk says ScarJo is the woman you want. Bree is the woman you end up waking up next to after a blackout night at the bar. Yeah, you're probably right about that. You're probably right about that. Yeah, Scarlett Johansson's still pretty hot.
Yeah,
she's around the same age.
Get a little long on the tooth there, but yeah, she's.
But I would comparatively.
I would probably cut off my left hand for her. Yeah, probably. All right, I have got the right one still.
Not in her prime, but still putting up numbers.
Yeah, still putting up numbers. She's later years, when that pitcher suddenly becomes a submariner or a knuckleballer.
Yeah, have to learn other pitches.
Can't throw 100 anymore.
They're a smarter pitcher now. They can get people out with other ways.
More strategic. That change up.
More strategic.
Yeah. Man of War 665 says Scott Pilgrim's fatal flaw is Michael Cera. Drying paint is more appealing. Now, I agree with you in the context of when it came out, because that's why I didn't see the movie and had no interest when it was in theaters, because it was oh my God, Michael Cera fatigue. He's in everything. I can't stand this guy. But I actually think he's perfect for the role.
Yeah, listen, he did have a fatigue at that point. He has done nothing almost since that era, at least. But this is he can play that one role, and this role was that role. That awkward nerd.
It was
quiet.
I don't believe douchey. I don't know how a guy like Michael Cera, he probably does well, but it is weird to see him all these hot chicks fighting over him. You're
yeah,
that seems unlikely.
Yeah. I can see him as a movie star actor, obviously, but as just the regular Michael Cera, I don't know. Because it's not just his look. He doesn't look like a guy who has game.
Yeah. Interesting. Just another red shirt. This is out of nowhere, but he says, movie I was most surprised I liked, Shutter Island. Trivia, used some location shots from a closed state asylum 2 miles from my old house. Have you ever seen that? You ever seen Shutter Island?
You know what? I never did see it because it looked pretty disturbing and I just never checked it out.
I saw the riff tracks of it and I was like, that looks stupid. But then again, they're mocking everything about it, so it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
But it seemed ridiculous. But it's Martin Scorsese. He has very few misses, so it's probably pretty good.
I did not know it was a Scorsese thing. I didn't know that. I just knew a Leonardo DiCaprio, some asylum thing, and that was it.
Yeah, because it's an atypical movie. It's one of those departures from what he normally does, which I don't advise. If he put out Italian mobster movies every 4 years, I think that'd be just fine.
Yeah. If he does, he needs to get new actors. The CG thing's not going to
what a horribly misguided choice that was.
That was that a lot of directors do that, and we talk so much about Star Wars. George Lucas famously did that for the prequels. Like, oh, new technology's out, time to spam it.
I know abuse it.
Then it aged. I mean, think about The Irishman. Like, it only came out a year and a half ago, and it's already aged like milk.
Oh, it was so bad. It was so bad. It was just so unnecessary. Even if it was brilliant, it was like, who cares? I know what De Niro looked like young. Like, what are we doing? What is the point of this? And it was not convincing.
Yeah, they would have been better having young actors portray
100%.
And then go back and forth.
How does it improve the story to CGI him having blue eyes? That was disturbing.
I don't know.
I grew up with De Niro. De Niro doesn't have blue eyes. I really don't like that. Man of War. Sorry, Man of War 665 Neighbor of the Beast gives me a $6.65 super chat. Thank you very much. Man of War was my first super chat ever.
Hell.
And I will never forget that. Hell. 36 is long in the tooth, says the one who's still shitting green. Yeah, I don't get that.
Yeah, I guess he's saying, I don't know. Is Brie Larson 36? Or maybe ScarJo?
I think he means ScarJo because I said ScarJo was
long in the tooth.
Yeah,
she looks better than Brie, and I think she's a little older than Brie. So
yeah, I think I'm obviously being a bit facetious when I say she's long on the tooth.
Part of it is how hot she was when she was younger. Like, she was a super smoke show.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's
insane. So when you see it, it's like, so you're just kind of comparing it to, like, but that's just how it is. I mean,
yeah.
I guess, I'd still push my mom in front of a bus for her.
Yeah. It isn't a girl. You are not a basic bitch. There's a 9-0 chance I may have flirted with you when I was still in Michigan and used to go up at the Canada the party. So you are not basic.
I don't think you're basic, but I think she says she's still, like, based off her still liking twists in movies.
Okay.
I like a good twist.
Yeah.
Not seeing it coming. Well. I mean, I thought the most recent episode of Invincible was trash. Trash.
Why?
But for so many reasons, dude. So many reasons. Like, it didn't pick up where the story left off on the prior episode. Our hero gets his ass kicked the whole episode, does not beat anyone on his own, has to, like, one of the bad guys he's fighting literally kills himself, and that's how the fight ends. And then the next one, a gay robot, this is not a joke, a gay robot had to realize that this was wrong and pull something out of his head, and he saved the day. Our hero's getting the shit kicked out of him the whole episode. And everything other that wasn't those terrible action sequences was just relationship drama between him and his girlfriend. It sucked.
I have just one question, and I know we have Ascension dildo, so maybe I'm just old fashioned from a different era, and I don't mean to be bigoted, but how in the fuck can a robot have sexuality at all?
Because it's technically like an android. Like, this guy was like a cyborg. Like, he was collecting these alpha male specimens and turning them into these androids or these cyborgs for, like, his sick experiments or whatever.
So this is a part human, part robot? Okay.
It doesn't make it any more, like, palatable.
I still have questions because I imagine as a human there's certain equipment that would be necessary again express any sexuality whatsoever, but at least
it's
just that.
It was trash. It was and the reason I brought it up was because the last episode was so good, and there was an amazing twist at the end that I did not see coming, that apparently our hero just forgot. Our hero just forgot about this tremendous twist and just moved on, went away to go visit some college with his girlfriend. It was fucking garbage.
That's awesome.
I couldn't believe how bad it was. I wanted to scream at the writer. It was so terrible. Sorry, go ahead.
APM is looking to get the robot's number. Two things: fictional and a robot. So I don't know how. I mean, but I don't know what equipment he's packing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like that Rick and Morty episode where Jerry's got to give his penis to save that guy's life, and then Beth is like, "No," and then she starts looking at all the robot penises and how like big they are and all this stuff, and she's like, maybe you should be selfless."
Oh no, Android scanner! I offended you. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to oppress your people.
Stop oppressing me at Vigilante Williamson. Was he here the whole time? That's pretty funny. Or is that Robert?
It could be Robert.
It could be Robert. I don't know.
But you know what? I say that there was somebody who was the Batman, and Robert said it wasn't him. So I don't know who it was.
He's a symbol. He's a symbol that Gotham needs.
Yeah. There you go. Maybe it was actually the Batman.
Is the hero that Gotham
needs and not deserves right now. What is it? I used to understand what that meant.
I don't think it means anything.
Yeah, he's the hero Gotham deserves, but not needs right now.
Is that the line?
It's the hero that he deserves. The hero that Gotham deserves, but doesn't need right now.
But they don't need. What are they deserves? Like they deserve it. They're good, but they don't need a good hero.
But the idea, I guess the idea
was like the Harvey Dent thing. He was trying to get Harvey Dent. Okay, that kind of makes sense.
Like he doesn't need Batman to be the hero. He needs Batman to be the villain in order to be the hero.
Yeah, it's like Gotham deserves like someone who's going to fight for them, but what they really need is a future. I mean, honestly, that's not a terrible plot. Like that's not a terrible story like convention. That's a really interesting idea. I kind of like that Batman recognizes, I mean, it would be great if the movie would support that, but it like recognizes the fact that like, you can't have a vigilante, running the city. I mean, this show can, but you can't. Yeah. Do you want to watch that Shang-Chi trailer?
Yeah, we should. But real quick, since you do though, Snoop Pearson from The Wire, Deserve ain't got nothing to do with it. Shout out to
nicely done.
Good point.
Snoop. That girl, she's a real true blue gangster.
Yeah. In real life too. Joke. And it's no joke at all.
Wait, so Mech1164 says the hero we need but don't deserve.
Okay, that's what it is. Is that now? I'm going to Google this because I'm lost.
Google it. Now I need to know. Alrighty. That girl, I know. Just talking about Snoop Pearson, she's legit because she ended up like going back to jail after The Wire.
Oh man,
yeah, she's like legit. She seems so nice and likable too, but she was scary. That was the most not frustrating, but just kind of like parts of that whole show was that Marlo never gets his. Yeah, he just wins. He just gets away with it. He just keeps on being Marlo.
Yeah,
and you're like, damn it, someone's got to get this guy. But it kind of like
that was the point.
Yep,
it was like that's just how it goes. Because that's why The Wire works. There's so many just like you're frustrated, but nothing's unrealistic.
No, and
what
like
happens pisses you off, may piss you off, but nothing. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, and no one's painted as like this is the bad guy. Like there's no like what is that word? Like monolithing of people. That's not the word, but it's like where they demagoguery. There's no demagoguery, and it's like it just portrays a very complex, difficult situation for everyone involved.
Yeah,
and it's like just like real life.
Yeah, that's the point.
So, did you find the quote?
I'm every time I see it, it's like crossed up. It's a different way. So now I'm like even more confused as I look.
So no one knows. Is it like the Mandela Effect where we all thought it was something, but it was not that?
I'm going to IMDb for I'm just gonna add that to it. Okay.
The Mandela Effect is one of those really fun things to like consider because there's no way to prove it.
Yeah.
We all just have a collective memory of something that we can't. There's no basis for. Yeah. I love that idea. That's funny. That's just a fun little nuance.
We're not in the same universe. At least I'm not. I'm not in the same universe I was born in.
I don't think so either. Like everything has gotten so weird. But
so according to IMDb, he's the hero that Gotham deserves. It's because he's the hero that Gotham deserves, but not the one it needs right now. So
okay,
hero Gotham deserves.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So our our earlier interpretation makes sense.
All right. So let's
Yeah,
get
that
to
gets
Shang-Chi.
No,
Go on.
that's not too stupid. All right. So let's you want to watch the Shang-Chi trailer?
Yeah, I do.
I hope that I'm pronouncing it right. I'm gonna mute my mic while I have it so there's no echo.
Okay.
All righty. Here we go.
And actually, I just played it yesterday and did not get a copyright strike, so I think we should be good on this.
I gave you 10 years to live your life. Now you see me rise. And where did that get you? You walked in my shadow. I trained you. So the most dangerous people in the world couldn't kill you. Son, it's time for you to take your place by my side. You better watch out, 'cause it's my time. That's not going to happen. It's nefarious, I come alive. You woke up the dragon. You can't outrun who you really are.
Who are you?
Okay.
Hold on, everybody! We make a good team.
I could have done without that last joke, but other than that,
That was
really
exactly my point too, because that was my one thing I said. Like, oh, you didn't need that Marvel.
no,
looks-
that's that Hollywood sense of humor.
Huh? Somebody
was an-
always died. You know.
Quirky joke there. That's a little different than the actual situation. That's a joke. That's their whole their whole brand of humor in Hollywood. It's just stale, ineffective, bland, not funny crap.
Yeah.
But that stupid, added joke in notwithstanding, that looked cool as shit.
I thought the same thing. I thought it looked cool. I see a lot of people shout to just another red shirt. He's not just another red shirt. He's the red shirt. And he says he'd rather rewatch Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And Snore the Poop is so tired of wire work. Crouching Shang, Hidden Chi. But there's the thing, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is like a 20-year-old movie.
And there's too much wire work in that for me.
Yeah.
Like I don't like them running on top of the bamboo trees and
cool.
stuff. I don't. It's cool, I guess, but it's too. What are the rules of this universe? Like, can everyone fly, or is it just you, or what is? I just don't like that.
I guess for the time, I just was like, I didn't care. It was pretty.
I don't know.
Pretty. I don't even remember the story. I just remember it being a really pretty movie.
Yeah, it was very pretty. I know that for a fact. But going back to this movie, Shang-Chi, I do like that blending of like Far East and like hip hop.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned that. It was pretty cool.
I do think that's cool. Like that really works. Like what was it? Samurai Champloo?
Yeah.
I thought that I think that's kind of cool. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, even the Boondocks to some extent had anime overtones.
Yeah. Damn. I
Yeah.
cannot believe the Boondocks is allowed to exist as a show.
Yeah. They've been trying to I know they've been yeeting episodes. They're trying to, you know what I mean? But Granted Kuma says MCU Phase 4 is a turn. I agree, but this looks interesting. And honestly, the most interesting part of it is it doesn't look like another Marvel movie. It is, but it just doesn't. I don't like that. When I say that joke, I'm like, oh, they're gonna Marvel it up, aren't they? Like I liked it being its own world. You know what I mean? I'm marveled out. I'm tired of Marvel, but you know what? It's been a while since Kung Fu, at least in the West. I know there's Ip Man. There's a lot of there is some good stuff, but Kung Fu and Wire type movies and stuff like that, they haven't been as popular in the West in a while. And I'm good. I'm game for some really well choreographed fight scenes.
Yeah,
And really
I'm
thought
down
out
with it.
choreographed.
I'm not gonna
fight
hate on
scenes.
it just to hate on it. If it's cool, it's cool.
Yeah.
I had a thought and it just went out of my head. Oh yeah, like I like the fact. I think if I'm interpreting the trailer correctly, that like he's kind of like a spoiled shit in the beginning.
Yeah. It does
Right?
seem
He's just like partying in the clubs, and he's like, I trained you for all these years, and what did you do with the time afterwards? I thought that was a cool little setup.
So
We already have our character's journey. We already have like where he starts off established in the trailer. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you want to kind of see he already has this life. It looks like built, and then it gets messed up by whatever, he was trained for whatever organization, whatever it is. In the chat, Islington Girl says, "Where's Chun-Li?" and Grenakuma agrees. Where the hell is Chun-Li?
Where's Chun-Li though? Oh, that's Friday. That comes out Friday.
Oh yeah, Mortal Kombat does come out Friday.
2 days.
It does. I'm excited for that, and actually for similar reasons. A lot of good fight choreography. I can't speak. Not sure how woke it will or won't be. Not sure how good the story will or won't be. But man, I think part of it's just the lack of good movies. If you can put together a dumb action movie right about now, I think it's gonna hit pretty big because I think.
Are you gonna try to watch it on Friday?
Yeah, I am gonna watch it. I'm definitely gonna watch it.
All right, cool. So yeah, for the cocktail lounge, right?
Yeah. I really want to somehow see it in theaters. I don't know if I'll be able to see it in theaters. I mean,
maybe if I go to like a matinee, I might be able to.
Yeah.
You busy, Jake D? You want to go see Mortal Kombat?
Hey, there you go. Cool.
So I wanted. Did you? I'm sorry, I cut you off there. Were you going somewhere?
No. I was just messing with the. I said something about the action. I just think a good action movie is what people want. Something simple, something well thought out. I just don't want a dumb action movie. I like the fight choreography. That's what looks exciting about this Shang-Chi. Looks like some well thought out fight choreography, and that's really. I want to see what happens. And again, a hero's journey. I don't want to see a lot of Marvel references. I don't really want to be in the Marvel world.
No, I don't need any crossovers. I don't need like the Scarlet Witch to show up or like Hawkeye to shoot an arrow or I don't care.
Yeah, I don't want this to link to the Marvel universe. I'm sick of the Marvel universe.
Yeah, I am. I'm tired of it. It's just we just need to move on. It's like do the right thing. It's like don't do the typical thing where they just keep milking it till you hate the thing. Like be like Ricky Gervais. Like he does, 2 good seasons, wipes his hands and he's out and he's on to the next project.
Yeah, he really does.
Even though it's not my favorite show, they did it well with Breaking Bad.
Yeah, what was it 5 seasons?
5 seasons, but then they have like Better Call Saul. But apparently that's a really good show.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had the movie. So they are kind of milking it a little bit, but the original 5 seasons is just left as the original 5 seasons. Yeah, I think if more people learn from that, then I honestly think it would increase the value of the thing.
Yeah,
not decrease it. Yeah,
people overexpose things too much.
Yeah,
and don't let things breathe. I really, when it comes to Marvel, it's like, man, I can't gear myself up. I'm not watching Black Widow. I didn't watch this Winter Soldier thing. I'm not watching Loki. I may check out the What If thing because I'm an animation guy and I like cartoons. But man, that's the reason I want to see this movie is because it doesn't look like a Marvel movie, and I hope it keeps up with that. But that one joke at the end, and it's right after some high stakes. This girl almost gets her head chopped off. But in the bus, and you see that scene, you're like, whoa, and then it's like, joke. It's like, God damn it.
And that wasn't the tone of the trailer in any way.
No.
Really. It's just cornball bullshit. That type of stuff. Like I said, that's the sense of humor in Hollywood. Like every script I ever read, always in acting classes, those were always the jokes. It was always just it's like
Derp.
derp joke. So the director of Shang-Chi, his name is Destin Daniel Cretton.
Mm-hmm.
He's from Hawaii. And he did a show called Tokyo Vice, which he directed 9 episodes of. I don't know what this is. Maybe it's not out yet. It says 2021, so it might HBO Max. I don't know. Might not be out yet. A movie called Just Mercy.
Just Mercy was everyone's favorite. Michael B. Jordan. It came out a couple years ago.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan. Oh, that's right. World-renowned civil rights defense attorney Brian Stevenson works to free a wrongly condemned death row prisoner.
Yeah, I did not check that out.
Nah, I don't care to. Because it's, even if it's like a true story or whatever, it's like these subjects are never dealt with any kind of complex nuance that makes you like it. It's just so. It's like like an SJW like ego trip for them to just like live vicariously through and fight the power, blah blah.
Man, it isn't even that simple. Like I am not. Brie Larson was in Just Mercy. Oh God,
she's also in the Glass Castle, unfortunately. So he's So this guy has directed her twice.
Good luck for him. Apparently, she's not easy to work with either. That's so he's earned it. He's worked pretty hard, I guess. But yeah, I'm not really like there's a lot of movies I'm not gonna see. I've never seen 12 Years a Slave. I'm never gonna watch that movie ever.
That's actually a really good movie.
And it's not even about quality. It's like, listen, man, I saw Roots, I saw Amistad, I get it. I know what happened. I've seen, Kill a Mockingbird. I've seen these things. I understand it. I've been alive for 30 some odd years. I don't want to see another movie where it's the first black chef in Chicago, or it's you know what I mean, or it's this oppressive.
Bill Burr had a bit about that years back. He was like, they were the first all black swimming team, and he's just like, I don't know how much white guilt I have left. It's like, I'm just saying, it's all the way down to swimming.
But yeah, I don't want to see any of this shit. Not like it's. I just don't want to see it. I have no fucking interest in it.
It's just patronizing
and black ping pong team.
That's funny.
I mean, yeah.
It's funny.
Who wants to see this shit?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I just, it's not interesting. And it's like they just keep trying to recycle. It's like, I think because there was a time where Hollywood authentically was leading the conversation when it came to like race relations and authentic progress, and I believe that. I really do. I think especially like in the 60s, 70s, a little bit of the 80s, like they really were. It's just that they are so nostalgic for that time. What's that?
It's a Norman Lear of the 70s.
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
And like all those, there was a lot of good conversations happening, but I think they're so nostalgic for that time that they're trying to like invent the scenario and they're trying to like recapture their former glory when they were doing things like Driving Miss Daisy, which was rather poignant. And it's like them just trying to have their moment again where they're the virtuous ones. It's just so disgusting.
Yeah, and you're right to say they're nostalgic for that time. I think that's a lot of what's driving a lot of this. I remember when I was in school, we would get shamed by our woke ass teachers. We didn't know they were woke because we didn't have the word. Kids today don't protest for anything. Kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so these teachers have been doing that since I was in school, and they finally got a generation of kids, and now they feel involved. Like, yeah, we're just like the 60s. We burned down statues. They didn't burn down statues in the 60s.
Yeah, they're like nostalgic for that time when they were really making a difference, man.
Yeah.
Really, really stomping the man. But it's like you're fighting a boogeyman now.
Yeah.
There's no one, you're not defeating anyone. You're defeating yourself.
Yeah.
You're defeating the very cause you think you're fighting in for.
Absolutely. In many cases, you're the thing that should be fought against for whatever cause.
Hell
You're
yeah.
the racist. You're the institutional racism that you seek to destroy in a lot of cases.
Yeah, you are. It's like they made a problem, they like invented a problem, and then they became it. And it's like, that's I wanted to get to. Sorry, go ahead.
Maybe we're going to do the same thing in the chat.
Rio Proj.
Yeah. We were in the same
we're on the
wavelength.
same page. We're on the same page. Oh, that's Ninja Dildo. Fuck that guy. Rio Pride says, do y'all think Daily Wire and Tim Pool making their own productions are smart? Vidge, what do you think?
I didn't know Tim Pool was going to do his own thing. He's smart.
I didn't either.
You know what? Here's what I think. You know what? I have multiple thoughts. The first one, if you were here earlier, Rio Praj, hell, I appreciate it. But if you go back, we were talking about the My Pillow guy, and that's a fear. Basically, the My Pillow guy is a conservative nut job, and he served.
That's pretty
You know what I
succinct.
mean? He's a conservative nut job, and even if somebody, if you need to know, if I have to define myself politically, I guess I'm a libertarian. I can recognize he's a conservative nut job. And so and at the same time, we have this monolithic Hollywood system that needs to be broken down. And we need other production companies to exist outside of Hollywood and that distribute things outside of Hollywood system. But I hope Daily Wire and Tim Pool can contribute to the latter and not the former. I think I did that right. Yeah, the latter. And be a part of a Hollywood system or a part of the anti-Hollywood system, contributing movies outside the Hollywood bubble. But if they're just a conservative echo chamber and that's all they have for us, I'm not going to care. And so that's where I'm at.
I don't want a conservative version of Hollywood.
No.
I don't want the Tucker Carlson approved,
No.
movies. I listen to conservative voices. I do, because on some issues I agree with them. Some issues I think they're right. I think they see a lot of ghosts where there are none, and I think they kind of relish the fight too.
Absolutely.
I think it's like that's why I don't like Steven Crowder anymore. He's so smug.
I never was a Crowder guy, and I know I grew up. I was born a couple months after him, about 10 or 15 miles away from him, because he was born in Grosse Pointe. I know he had dual citizenship. Born in Grosse Pointe. But yeah, he's always his smugness. And
he matters, but no, I mean he's doing good stuff, but it's like you said, like it's like you seem so arrogant about your point of view. Like I don't want to.
He's younger conservative Bill Maher.
Yes.
That's what he is.
I think he makes better arguments than Bill Maher, but it's the same kind of vibe.
It's the same thing. It's the same. He's less funny than Bill Maher though. Like and so it's like he's another comedian. And if this haunts me and I blow up and 20 years from now I'm on this channel and I'm looking him directly in his eyes, I'll say, yeah, I believe this. He's another comedian that's not that funny, so he goes into politics and it's a political thing, and it's like. I don't want to watch the show.
Very good point.
I like quarterback of the time.
Spot on. You're right about that. No, you're right. You definitely see a lot of comics like they do that. Like they're kind of funny, and then they find this political niche, and then they dive in 100%. Yeah, that's a really.
He wants Clapter too. That's the thing. He wants Clapter too.
Sentient Dose says, "What's this good stuff doing?"
He did something.
All the stuff he did at the colleges was great.
Yeah, stuff for the college, and he did something. Oh, he did something for the great state of Michigan. He did something where he researched something for them. Remember when the Supreme Court actually sued, or maybe you didn't remember last year. Oh, excuse me, that was rude. The Supreme Court of Michigan sued the governor or something, or tried to stop her from her unconstitutional bullshit, and I think he contributed to that.
I think he was one of the first people who was public and vocal about his anti-wokeness, and in that sense I think he is very important to the movement, brothers. But I mean but just like the first time you saw anyone like publicly disagreeing with all this shit that wasn't Fox News, and even them, they never really had a good handle on it anyway. And so it was the first time I heard anyone really like going after it, and like going to college campuses and putting himself in the middle of all that shit and being like, there's only two genders, change my mind. And, having people sit down and like have a whole conversation about it. It's like, I respect it. The thing is now I'm just like, I already know what his angle is. I already know what he thinks. And he has this just like very self-satisfied delivery. And it's just like, this isn't fun. It's kind of like some of like those Ben Shapiro videos where it's like he's clearly defeating intellectual inferiors, and he's like, it's not. I don't like kicking anyone either. Like I think it's important to fight back, have a strong voice, not conform, especially to a narrative that like is as crushing as wokeness. But I'm not boning libs, bro. Like that.
Yeah. And Ben Shapiro, to go a little wrestling reference, he had no problem booking jobbers to squash, so to speak. Where you get somebody at, is not the smart. Palookas, yeah. And it's like, oh, Ben Shapiro owns the libs. It's like, okay, you should own this 15-year-old kid at a college. Like,
right. Yeah, she's a college kid. She just heard
you're
this
a
idea
fucking
3 months
lawyer.
ago.
Like, you probably should out debate them. Yeah.
Like I do respect him going into their habitat and taking them on, but still, it's Ascension Delta owning libs is so fucking cringe.
It is.
It is.
So is.
Because you just sound like a dude. It's the whole problem right there. This isn't a team sport.
No.
We're not winning anything. Like it's not. This is the soul of the country is the soul of the world is at stake here. Like it's. I don't know. It's funny. Like I have to remember like how I always say the country, but it's like half the people in this chat are not from the States. So.
No, this really is a global thing. Yeah, most of the people are. We got Granny Kuma, Cincha Dildo, Islington Girls Canada. That doesn't count. APM is obviously England.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, it's as well. Yeah. And APM is saying that he agrees. He thinks Crowder and Ben both inherited their politics from their family. Always suspicious. Yeah. And look, I think intellectually they both can make good arguments. And I respect the way Shapiro goes about his things. They're very intellectually sound generally. But also he's conservative, like Orthodox Jewish, and that informs a lot of his ideas. And he's very transparent about that, which I respect. But still, like whenever there's a collective thinking for you, before you have the conversation, I'm like, don't. It's like, there's nothing wrong with that, but I kind of bristle at it.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. And I've never really been a Crowder guy. He just has that troll energy. It's just like
I can't find anything about Tim Pool making a movie though.
Huh.
If you're still here, Rio Praj, yeah, I think you are. If you have a link to that, can you send that? I don't know if you can put that in the chat or not, but
I think we'll see it, but the rest of the chat won't. And then you can copy and paste it.
Yeah, can you do that? That would be if you know of a source, because I'd like to talk about that.
Yeah.
But my point of view on that thing is I think it's great. Like I said, I completely wholeheartedly agree with Vig. I don't want like a conservative Netflix, like like Christian movies repulse me. Like I'm not like that doesn't. I have no interest in that. But a legitimate competitor to Hollywood, like where they would make their own thing and distribute it themselves, and if that became profitable, it's like I think that's terrific. It's exactly like what I was saying on Monday about the Jake and Logan Paul thing. It's like I'm not a fan of them necessarily, but I'm a fan of what they represent.
Yeah,
they are alternatives to the media conglomerates that have a stranglehold on what kind of content can come out, who can be in that content, like the avenues with which it's distributed. Like it's very it's so homogenous and it's so gross. I think any legitimate competition to that is a good thing.
Oh hell, Comics Division.
Hey, comics.
Apparently
What's up, brother?
Tim talks about it all the time on his IRL channel.
Oh,
I watched Tim Pool IRL since Adam was there, so I would have no clue.
I Ryan Long was on Tim Pool and I still haven't checked it out. And I sometimes think about it. I want to go check it out, but I guess like he's an independent voice, you know. Tim Pool, he's an important journalist.
Yeah.
I tend to like. Oh, go ahead, sir.
No, I like Tim Pool a lot more than Crowder because one, he's not trying to be a smug. Tim Pool's issue is he's high strung, but it's like, that's just how he is.
Yeah,
and that's why I don't watch. But it's not like I dislike this person. I don't dislike Crowder either. It's just more annoying. But like I you know, if a Tim Pool thing happens, I'll sometimes check it out. It just for the same reason I said earlier, like, hey, I have to live my individual life, and that's enough stress for me, and I don't want to add more. I'm not a big Tim Pool. Ascension Dildo just going off on the chat.
And that was going off on everybody.
He's my spirit animal.
It does make me feel special though, because if he hates all these people but likes us, we must be very unique tastes. I appreciate that.
To be fair, I don't know if he likes us.
Good point. Very good point. I wanted to go to Grinakumas says, I just want things to come back to the middle. I think the only way for that to happen is to have options. Hollywood or any monopoly isn't good. Couldn't agree more. I think it goes back to the best parties are when everyone's invited analogy. It's, you know, if one angle corner of the world has just too much power, it becomes, you know, Hollywood is insufferable. I mean, it's smug and self-satisfied and doesn't offer any kind of conversation and shoves it down our throats with aggression, with relish, and it's repugnant. We definitely need contrary entertainment.
Yeah, and just entertainment. Fuck it.
And
we don't get much. We don't get any entertainment. So listen to our worldview. It's like, fuck you, man.
Shut up. I was saying it in the cocktail lounge. I don't know if you were still there at this point, Fidge, but after I watched Scrubs, when I was talking to comics, that was cool. Good to see you, buddy. But I think we live in a woke world. I don't think we can move forward without acknowledging it and dealing with it. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I can't remember what I said then. But I agree with it that it's not untrue, but I also think we can be the change we want to see in the world. You know what I mean? We can impact, because part of the thing, and it's not from a point of disagreement, but it's from a point of I don't want to, even on my channel, I don't want to have to keep, here's something woke and complain about it, just like I talked about the Captain America thing. Here's something woke, and oh my God, they have a woke. Like, I don't give a fuck. It's like I want to move past the wokeness. I want to be post. You said post wokeness. Well, let's be in that post part. And yes, it will include some of it, but it's you know, wokeness. It didn't exist. There was, you know, there were liberals and whatever, but what we now constitute is this virtue signaling, this intersectionality. We use the term woke to kind of encompass all that, and now we have to react to it, but we also have to move past it. So even though I don't disagree with it, I'm very interested in getting past it and getting, okay, let's just go through this, because something else will come along, and I want to be part of that something else, and maybe it's neutrality, you know, more political and cultural neutrality is. But you're right, it is something that has to be reacted to because of how prominent it is.
But what I mean is that, no. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I just don't think we can be like, okay, that's done with. Now we can just go back to normal. Like, I don't think that can ever happen. That's my point. It's like, I mean, like, I was watching a harmless show like Scrubs, and I was like, woke people would have so many problems with this particular show. Like, it would be sexist, it'd be misogynistic, it'd be all these things. It'll probably racist. It's because they really don't deal with race. So like, there's no racial victims on that show. Like, every once in a while they touch on it, but generally almost never. And usually when they do, it's kind of like post-racial, if you will, to borrow a term. But it's like, I just don't think we can ever go back to just making something, because it's like even the creators and the audience that likes it is kind of on edge. You know, like waiting for the woke reaction, and we've said it before. We even have like the little internal woke person in our head, like that's like, even though we don't agree, that gets in all of us now.
So the reason I want to get past it is because I don't necessarily think that's true over the course of the rest of humanity, so to speak.
Okay.
Or even the next 20, 30
Fucking
years.
hope not. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I think that may be the case this decade, though. That this decade will be defined by either wokeness or the reaction to it, the anti-wokeness, so to speak. Or base, I think is the term. Wokeness versus baseness, if you will.
I'm just reading the chat, and we just have like just a completely black pilled. Everyone's just like, after the bombs fall, none of this will matter.
God saying another pop culture stuff will matter 5-10 years after the total collapse of civilization.
Yeah,
There's
like,
a non-zero chance you're not wrong, guys.
I hope you are, man. But sorry, go back to your point.
But yeah, if Godzillionaire is correct, or isn't correct, I should say, in 2030. Will we still be dealing with this? 2031? I don't know. We have no idea what's going to happen in the next 10 years. Maybe we will. Maybe everything will be super woke. We'll be woker than it's ever been. And we'll have like little brain implants complying to their every authoritarian whim. Or maybe we will get absolutely past this and this will be like disco or like something that defined an era, definitely, but it's in the past. And you look back like, why were you guys so crazy? You know what I mean? So
I like the sound of that. I really do. I don't know though, and I want to, because Comics Division says the issue is we can get past the wokeness, but the woke will not and keep going. And that's what I mean. It's like they're not going anywhere, and it's like that's why I almost think you have to address it. Like you don't have to go along with it, but it's like we can't go back to the 90s. That's done. We don't have to comply, but it's like I still think we need to like actively poke fun at it. We need to actively address it. That's what I think. And I mean, like, even in our content, not even in these conversations, like if Scrub came out today, like they would have to tease woke ideology as part of the show. Otherwise, it would just be kind of uncomfortable because you'd be like, like, are they going to go woke? Like, you have to be like on the same wavelength at the same point that the conversation's at. Like if you because the conversation is now woke as part of the conversation now for at least a while. So we have to just deal with that. However we find it, and that's all my point was. It's just,
I agree. I think I think we agree. It's just I guess I'm just trying to get past the next however long it's going to take to, like, you're right, we're going to have to deal with it. But there's going to be a generation that's going to look at it differently than we're looking at it, and I have no idea what the fuck they're going to think. And I don't want to predict what they're going to think either way.
Yeah, I just know that like when I'm watching things, I am aware of woke thoughts, and if I am, that means a lot of other people are, and that definitely means the woke people are. So it's like I just don't think we can just make a normal movie and no one. And I just don't. I think that's over. Like we have to not for good, but like the next thing has to almost be like a backlash, or like the writers need to be really sharp and insightful in dealing with these things, because I don't think we can just pretend it's not there anymore, because it is.
Yeah. And you know what? I will slightly push back because I keep thinking about my mom that has no idea what woke is. No idea. But she just knows she doesn't like it when she sees it. And so there's that class of I don't even know what's going on. That I don't know how big that bubble is of people who are totally out of the loop of the culture war. But those people they just want to see a TV show they like. They just want to turn on a game and have a beer.
Normies,
the super base normies. And you know what? Some of them may be wearing their mask, and not you should wear your mask. Or shouldn't you say that's not a good example? What's a good example? Some of them wearing 2 or 3 masks. You know what I mean, or whatever, and doing everything with going overboard. But they at the same time they're not tied. They don't have a Twitter. There are people who are too old to have a Twitter.
Yeah, but they also don't matter because they're not in the conversation. You know what I mean? And that's the difference. It's like the creators are in the conversation. We are in the conversation. The chat that not knowing there, meaning like the
normies move the needle.
They follow. They don't lead. They follow.
True.
So it's we need them. But what I mean is but they're not gonna. They will go watch the thing, but we know. And the inner circle of what's going, like, we know entertainment sucks, like, because honestly, like, not all Hollywood creatives can be that brainwashed, but they have to play the game to get anything made. So they do. And we know that. We're aware of that. We point it out. We talk about it. The chat sees it. They get it. And the thing is, like, that's that now. Like, that's not just going to go away because for reasons. It's just not going to. Like, it's too much a part of the process and a part of the criticism that like content gets. Like, that's why it's almost needs to be like anti-woke. Like, it almost needs to be like Ryan Long, where it's like his jokes are so like spearheaded right at them that they have no response because they're the butt of the joke. I mean, they have responses, but you know what I mean? It's like you don't have to worry about woke backlash because you were already aware of it when you wrote this and you're dealing with it right now. And that's what I mean. It's like, then there's no pins and needles because if woke backlash comes, you're like, yeah, that was the point. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to get at. It's just like, you can't just go back and write Pulp Fiction again in 2021 just hope that people enjoy it. Cause it's like that's not the world we live in anymore. Man. We're post woke. You have to deal with it in the process of creation.
I disagree.
Oh, okay.
I disagree. Now that you made that statement, I'm like, cause you know why? Cause we talked a little bit about it. We'll do a stream eventually. Just rewatch From Dusk Till Dawn. That movie more than holds up. That movie 100%. More than holds up.
Brilliant.
It's better now than it was then. I'm convinced.
I agree. I
saw that and I was just like, was this movie that good this whole time? And it works in ways that it absolutely shouldn't, even though I don't want to give away. I'll talk about it then. But I'm like, if you're telling me, yes, releasing that very movie now would get you a lot of heat and a lot of controversy, absolutely. But it would still be liked. It would still be enjoyed. It would still be.
I agree with you. Could it be made? Could it even be?
And that's
created?
How we circle back to what we just were starting talking about it. Not by Hollywood, no, but by us. By I don't think Tim Pool or Ben Shapiro will do it, but I hope they surprise me. I'd rather them try to make Pulp Fiction and try to make an anti-Captain Marvel. And in some ways, though, by trying to make something, and maybe this is kind of a mix of what we're saying. If you try to make a Pulp Fiction and defiantly make it, keep the offensiveness. Yes, this is our anti-woke because we're making something we know is going to be offensive and we don't give a fuck that's going to be offensive. Maybe in the way that is it. But I want to see another Pulp Fiction. I want to see another From Dusk Till Dawn. I want to see another, even a Django Unchained, only 5 or 6 years old. I want to see these movies. And I was also thinking about this. I was thinking about this From Dusk Till Dawn, and I saw this one skit where this guy was rapping as a school shooter. And the verse was incredible because it was so violent. And that's fucked up. And I realized from Dusk Till Dawn, and like, we need edge. People like edge. People like edgy stuff. Not edgelord stuff, but stuff that's well done. Reservoir Dogs. Yeah, we need this. I refuse to believe a Reservoir Dogs, whatever movie that it would be offensive by the sensibilities.
Something needs to happen though. Like, we've been held hostage by woke people for a very long time. We can't just like open the prison and then just walk out. Like, we need to blow the prison up. Like, there needs to be a cathartic moment where we can move past all that shit and then start going back to making content. I don't think we can do it without having that moment.
Well,
we need to slay that beast before we can get back to making good things, because it's just too much a part of the conversation of all. Like, we talk about it all the time. You're watching something and you're on edge because it's either woke or you're waiting for it to be woke. And that voice is not going to go away anytime soon. And that's the thing. It's like, we can't just pretend it won't be there. It's like you even see it in contrast watching Dusk Till Dawn. You see it like, wow, look how good this used to be. You know what I mean? Like, you're even hearing it in contrast. Your brain's not off just watching a movie. Like, that is there now, and we need to deal with it before we can go back to making good things.
Okay. How about this? Maybe this is the best way to do it. The best way of dealing with it is making the best material possible. This is something Eric July says. Nobody's going to care just about your sensibilities. So making something just anti-woke is not good enough. It has to be good. And I think, hell, Comrade Williamson, rise up. The comrades here. Okay. But I think the best way to address it, not is to not address it, but it's to make something and not give a damn how offensive it is. You still have to make it for quality though. And it will address it by ignoring the wokeness. If you had a movie,
I don't agree. I think it needs to be like
not
black
ignoring the wokeness.
But that's what I mean. I think it needs to be like black exploitations in the like movies that are like so leaning into the racial stereotypes that it becomes like counter racism. You know, it's like
Maybe.
I think it almost needs to be like that. Like there needs to be like to get us out of this because we are still firmly planted in it, and we know it. It's like there isn't going to be like this magical day when it's not there unless we do something about it.
But I think doing something is making something. It's trying to make a movie that you're trying to make Pulp Fiction today. Oh, you can't make it today. No, I'm going to make it. That will address it because remember how crazy and crippling these woke sensibilities, everything's offensive to them. So just by doing that, you will be addressing it in a way because you can't help but to make something that will offend their sensibilities. And as long as quality comes first, the Black Dynamite, okay, make it. I'm not saying, I think we're kind of saying the same thing, but my whole mentality is, and a lot of it's coming as a creative, like you can't set out to make, I'm going to make something anti-woke. You got to set out to make something good. And then whenever you get to something like, do I make it woke? No, I'm not going to make it woke. In fact, I'm making it more offensive. And I think that can be done.
Such a dildo thinks I'm projecting that he doesn't have that mentality when he's watching entertainment.
I have it sometimes, but you know what? I think there's a lot of people who don't. I think that we forget about those middle normies who have no clue.
There's a lot of people that do, though. How many times do you hear this? This could never get made today.
Yeah. And I
hear that all the time. And that's because you're having the conversation in your head versus wokeness.
True, which is why these production companies, which was the origin of this conversation, are necessary. But I think trying to attack woke directly is not the best way to do it.
I guess I mean you just have to deal with it. It doesn't necessarily need to be attacked, but it's not to say the whole thing needs to be like look you, but it's just like I don't think you can just go back to like a time when we didn't have to think about it. Like I think you have to think about it. If you're writing something, when you're creating something, you have to be aware of it. It doesn't mean you have to convalesce, or it means you have to be like fucking libtards, but you do have to deal with it as part of the culture. You know, whether you mention it as, I don't know, like it just needs to be addressed because this is the world. We are post woke. This is part of culture now. The culture police are there. There was a thing that happened for a while, and they're still here. It's like we can't pretend they're not. I don't believe in this utopia where we all forget about it.
I don't believe in utopia either.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, I know what you mean.
So you just go back to like watching. We're just gonna make good movies again. I think that's fucking done for a long time, and we just need to accept it in a way.
Independent productions. If Hollywood has the final say, because Hollywood is not going to get off that woke train for a while. But if independent movies can come out and get any type of distribution or traction digitally, I don't think they need to address wokeness directly because of how the rules of wokeness are. That just by trying to make something good, if you try to make I guess I'm thinking of like comics.
That's like
right?
the thing with Luther. It's a thing with Luther. It doesn't deal with racism. So therefore it's weird. He doesn't have any black friends. That's what I mean. Like there's this contingent of people, but they still affect culture. They're
agree.
not just talking.
I guess I'm tired of playing defense, man. At some point we have to be like, no, we're setting the tone.
I agree. And
fuck
that's
what
why
you said.
like
we're setting the tone.
You do gotta like spike it in their face a little bit because this is the way it's gotta be. You'd be like, yes, I know what you're gonna say, and guess what? I don't fucking care.
I agree with that.
And that's what I'm saying. So it's like you just can't pretend that that's not there. That's all I'm saying. Like we're post woke. It's there now forever, or at least for a while.
You can't pretend it's not there, but you can't. Okay, I guess I have an idea for something like actually a whole project. I don't want to talk about it until I have more of it done. And I'm not going to include wokeness in my thought process either way. I'm not going to look to own the wokies. I'm not gonna look to. Maybe there'll be some winks and nods. I don't know. I haven't made it yet. But that's not the purpose. The purpose is the little story and the different multimedia facets that I want to do. Yeah, I'm the captain now. That's how I feel, even though I don't want the ending to happen because I don't want us to die. But yeah, I'm the captain now.
To me, I think it's just, I think what it is you're just not addressing the elephant in the room if you're that's how you're doing it. Like, you're just not dealing with the reality of culture. It would, it's like what's that? You're out of touch, I think.
Well, I guess my thought is like the elephant's so big just by trying to go straight.
Islington Girl, I was just going to make that analogy. It's like Vietnam or something. We can't pretend it's not there. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's like we just can't pretend it's not there any longer. Like that's not culture any longer, man. That's just that's how it is.
But I'm not even saying pretend it's not there. I'm just saying, like, man, I think people want something that's just good, and they don't really necessarily need woke to be defeated in some grand way for them to like it or gravitate towards it. Now, I do agree that the system that currently exists, in which Hollywood produces everything, is not going to allow for anything that isn't woke. And for the most part, when you talk about the Tim Pool and whoever else, Ben Shapiro and anyone else, if the fucking My Pillow guy, he wants to do movies, they'll probably address wokeness in the way that you're talking about, spiking in their face. And I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I'm saying, like, whenever, like,
because you have to focus. Even those guys, right? Even when they talk, they are dealing with wokeness. Like, they are still tiptoeing through the language constraints. They're still dealing with it. Gary deals with it when he talks. Like,
yeah,
I
deal with it. I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
But like, that's the problem. We need a Blazing Saddles. We need something to say, like, I don't even give a shit. We need I don't even give it. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. Maybe I'm projecting. I'm like, I want something that's just good, that ignores the conversation because it's a stupid ass conversation in the first place, because woke, like, a lot of this shit is just dumb.
I just think it needs to be dealt with. I just personally don't think you can just ignore it, because it's like, it's not going anywhere. It's not going to
just ignore it, but like, because of what it is, you will, by making something good, you will address it.
I think like an Airplane style comedy that shows how just absurd all of it is could be a really cathartic thing that could get us past it. Yeah, if we all came together to laugh, and then we all laugh kind of at ourselves and sort of at everybody else, and then we all just kind of feel connected and bonded again, and then we can move past this. I think that would get it done. But I really don't believe we can until we do. And I'm not trying to be like my agenda. I don't believe the audience. I think we are all a little on edge, and we're all aware of it. And we hear about it every day. We're waiting for the next thing to come down. That's what I think.
I don't think me and you are really that much in disagreement of like what needs to be done. I just think the spirit from which it comes from is the difference. I think it needs to come from the spirit, because again, like, they're so offended at everything. If you try to make Tropic Thunder 2, it said in the chat, and you just tried to make, we don't care about, I mean, that would obviously deal with it because it's about Hollywood. But like, I think you do, like, that would be great to have a cathartic comedy that comes at wokeness, but it better be fucking funny. I don't want to just see, I'm not giving you clapter just because you hate SJWs.
No way. No, absolutely not. Like, but that's what I mean. Like, it needs to be a genuine collective laugh. Like, we all laugh together, like black and white, united as one. But you know
Dogs
what I mean?
And cats, living together.
Living together. I don't know. But that, like, it does need, I believe that. I think there does need to be like a somehow we come back together as people or something, because it's, I don't know. I know I'm overly sensitive. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a very sensitive person, but it's also like a good tool, because that means I'm sensitive. I'm forward sensitive of things that people are latently sensitive about, and they're not aware of it, but I'm aware of it because my sensitivity is so heightened. So it's like I'm feeling this. I know other people are feeling this, and I know that's the lens that content is viewed through now. And it's like I just don't think we can pretend it's not there. And I see something has to happen to get us back to the point where we can be like, okay, now we can go back into our separate corners, and we can enjoy comic books again, and you can go back to being miserable all by yourself and not including us. Well,
I think something does have to happen, but it doesn't have to. Wokeness is so it's so huge. I know I keep saying that thing, but it's like there's so many movies that you quote unquote can't make today, just that by trying to make one of them and being true to that, it will have addressed it by not caring about how quote unquote sexist or racist or whatever is, or whatever phobe they would toss at it, not caring about it, not caring how offensive it is. But again, it has to come.
Yeah, like they're not gonna not care. They won't, and but they still have power. That's why it's not because I don't care, but it's that they have power. So
and they're not gonna lose.
I anticipate where it's gonna go and how it's gonna play out, right? Like a lot of people do, and you feel it, and that's what I mean. It's like until that mob is like scattered, it's just we can't ignore it.
I'm not saying you can ignore it, but like until I don't know.
Well, let's get some good news. The Islington girl gave me a $1.49 super chat, super sticker, and it's a shining diamond. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Shout out to that. You are shining like a diamond. You are shining like a diamond. Comrade Williamson says one world government is coming. Unfortunately, I hope you're wrong. I hope we can do something about it, but you might be right.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe, I don't know.
It kind of links into what I mean. That's the whole culture war. Somebody said the culture war was already lost and the people who won are in power. There's truth to that. But like Wake Down said, aren't we talking about the same crowd that canceled Baby It's Cold Outside but praise WAP? It's another thing. They have no logical basis for the shit they're saying. It's all not just emotion, but like rancid, toxic emotions, teenage emotion, early 20s emotion. And it like the only reason they have power is because of what Comrade Williamson said, at least that intention. I feel like the masses at large don't want this shit. And a good portion of them,
but they don't even know it exists. That's the thing; they don't matter.
Why don't they matter? Why don't they matter?
Not weighing in one way or the other.
Who cares who weighs in? I just want a good. If you make a good fucking movie,
it fucking matters. It moves the culture. Like these things get promoted, or they get canceled, or they get removed from platforms.
When Gillette tried to do wokeness, they fucked up their company. You know what happened to Coca-Cola when they moved wokeness? They fucked up their company. Every time I see one of these big companies actually show normal people their wokeness, they repulse from it every time.
Yeah, but
so if you just make something normal, it'll work.
That's different than media and art. It's different.
How?
Because it's subtler.
Well, what? In 2021, when me and you are in two different states and on the largest platform on the planet right now, YouTube, having a channel, who gives a fuck what they think? Why can't
that's what's great about what we do, because it's outside of their conversation and it doesn't matter. It's like it doesn't matter to the culture, right? But that's what's so effective about what's going on here is it's happening outside of their control, and it doesn't matter. They can tweet about it all fucking day long. No one goes. Gary's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? Hero's not going. That's the power of it. But that's only existing in this bubble, right? Like that's not like something where you have to get a huge return on it, like a
Jake
movie
Paul,
or a TV show.
We just talked about him, Jake Paul. And it's not necessarily a woke, anti-woke, but he's someone who, and he was pushed by YouTube. He was able to do a lot of crazy shit that me or you couldn't do. But that notwithstanding, he is outside of the public. He is not in the he's not a part of the system, But
No.
I guarantee my mom knows who he is. I guarantee the all those normies who don't know all this shit going on, they at least heard this guy's name. Is he the YouTuber guy, whatever? They know who he is despite that. Meaning, you do not need this system anymore. You don't need. They have their power. Fuck them. Let them have let them be naked emperors because they have power over less and less each fucking day. The fucking NFL is losing ratings. The NFL.
So you're saying ultimately if Pulp Fiction came out on the Daily Wire's channel or whatever, people would go for it.
Yes, if they can make Pulp
That's
Fiction,
great. You're right.
But they got to make Pulp Fiction
because they have a wall up.
Yes,
that doesn't give a fuck about the Twitter mob. That's what I mean, like that. And there you go. So that's almost kind of dealing with it in a way, but it's like that's what I'm saying. Like okay, okay, I get what you're saying. And
I guess
I agree.
my thought is it can be dealt with indirectly. Maybe that's the best way to clarify. Maybe I was making the wrong argument. It can be dealt with indirectly.
No, I just now I understand what you mean. It's just oh shit, I did it again.
What?
Wake Down sent me a fucking super chat and I almost missed it. Not this time. Not this time. The Wake Down for $2. I know a lot of normies and most just can't see it.
Yeah.
He's right. Let's circle back to that because I think we just got a breakthrough. But it's like
get a breakthrough.
Yeah. Because then that outlet is not beholden to for what I don't even know why Hollywood thinks they're beholden to it, but then they are not beholden to the Twitter mob, and they can be like that's exactly what we're here to do is to be contrary to you. So then they've pre-addressed it, like it's dealt with it.
Yeah, and I think that's the only way. Yeah. I am so worried about a lot of stuff we talked about. We talked about Crowder, we talked about the My Pillow guy, and it's like that ain't the answer, Chief. Either that ain't it, Chief. To quote the kids, I'm probably out of touch. And I'll touch Boomer by saying that ain't it. But it's like, that's not going to do it. And Robert, he's right. We need more testosterone voices like 24/7. 24/7 has the greatest voice on earth.
He does.
It's so awesome.
That is one hell of a voice.
Yeah.
Should get him back in the Cocktail Lounge.
Yeah.
You want to come on Friday 24/7? You want to come on the Cocktail Lounge? We're talking about Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
Let us know. That's just later.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Even though Mortal Kombat probably is going to have a little wokeness because of obviously Johnny Cage shit.
I think that maybe, you know what, they can also maybe they cut that off at the pass by just there's no white male lead and then just leave us alone.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Maybe that was like their sacrifice to the volcano.
Yeah. We've sacrificed it to the woke gods and goddesses. Like, there's no Johnny Cage, leave us alone.
Yeah, and it's just like, all right, I'll come back as long as there's no white man leading the movie.
We have an Asian lead, a black guy, and a woman as the lead. Leave us alone.
Leave us alone. Yeah. That's what I mean. It's like it does need to be dealt with. And that I do like the idea though of having like a wall up. And that's right, because it wouldn't matter. And that's the anxiety I feel. It's not that like I'm just I don't want to hear I don't want to hear them talk about it. Like, and I already can imagine what they would say. Like, I don't want them weighing in on Scrubs. Fuck you. Scrubs was great. Stay the fuck away from our stuff. But that's the thing. It's like they keep getting their fucking hands in things and they ruin shit and they cancel it and they get it deplatformed and you have to hear these little retards talk about what they think about the blah, blah, blah. And that's what I mean. It's like, it's always still there.
That's going to be here for a while. I'm not going to lie. We still got some years of that.
Yeah. But that's that. I love your idea of it, just of the Pulp Fiction on another platform and the wall being up. It's like, doesn't matter. You can't penetrate this force field.
Yeah. If Odyssey comes up and and there's people who are making really good content over there, and then that just, okay, that's it. There's nothing you can do. People are using DuckDuckGo instead of Google. You know what I mean? People get tired of shit too.
They do. And there's lots of independent thinkers and there's really good conversations happening. You know, it's like, that's what's so great about YouTube. It's like, you know, they can't stop us all. They can't stop us all. The Islington girl says the specter of Johnny Cage hangs over this movie.
It kind of does.
It's well put too.
It really does.
Very poetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so it's 2 hours. I don't know what you're up to. I'm down to hang. I got nothing going on.
You can hang a little bit. Yeah. I know that was pretty cool. We haven't really disagreed in a while, like ever, I don't think.
No, that was
cool.
That was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very healthy conversation.
It is healthy. It's very healthy. And Sencha Dildo was right. Who is using Google? I think DuckDuckGo is just apples to apples better. Like for researching shit for this channel, I find there's a lot of stuff that like you search on Google and you really can't find a story, and I end up having to use DuckDuckGo.
I never use DuckDuckGo. Should I?
Oh, really?
I'm like Google. I don't know. It's just here. It's convenient.
Like if you ever have, I would say if you ever are like searching for something and you're like, I can't find it for some reason, I would use DuckDuckGo. I don't always use it all the time, but I use it quite a bit in general, because like I'll see YouTube video and then I'll try to search the article to kind of ape it, and then I'm like, oh, I can't fucking find it on Google because Google doesn't want you to know, and then you got to look around.
Okay.
So that's where it's useful.
Yeah.
So well, anyway, I'm cool to stick around because I actually want to talk about, get back to actual pop culture, because we've been talking about a lot of culture at large. I want, and thank you too for congrats on 400 subs. 24/7 is actually really close to 400 subs. You know what? Fuck it. Let me toss this link in the chat if that's cool.
Cool.
See if we can get 24 to 400 now. I feel naked up here. So let's get my man 24. He only needs 9 more subs. I mean, I know there's a lot of familiar faces, but if all 9 of you, or if 9 of you gave 24/7 Fusion Media a sub, he would be at 400 as well, and we could be congratulating him. So please give my man 24/7 Fusion Media a sub. Please. Really appreciate it. He has a really, really good channel. To be honest, I talk about aping stuff. Sometimes I have to ape stuff from him. He reports every bit of pop culture news that happens, even stuff a lot of the bigger channels don't get to. So if you're looking to keep up with what's going on in pop culture, whether it's rumors or news, I would sub to 24/7. I'm not just saying that because he has a great voice and I would consider him a friend and I like him. I'm saying it because his channel is genuinely good. Because it is.
Great. That's a great model to grow with too.
Yeah, and he's at 394. So some of you have sub. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sure he does too. Good work.
Cool.
So what was that?
I want to talk about the Michael Keaton Flash thing.
Oh yeah, okay, cool.
It's something interesting.
Founding in the comics or something. Did they cover that?
That's what I'm about to check, because they're like a go-to for like.
Oh, it's the best. It's the only media outlet I feel comfortable reading.
Yeah, at this point, do they have anything? I'm sure they do, but I just thought it was interesting because a few weeks ago, Michael Keaton, and he could have just been playing coy or whatever because of Hollywood speak, but was really down on the potential of not only doing this movie, but really anything, because he was worried about the coof. And I mean, he's a guy who's in his 70s.
Yeah. I thought that was
60s.
weird. When I first heard that, I was like, no, he's not. That's a bullshit excuse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not that I would think he's not concerned or whatever, but I was like, fuck you. Like, it was too much. It was like, I don't know.
Virtual signally.
It wasn't. It was just like, no, like that's he just doesn't want to do it, or it's like a tactic. He's like, well, it's like there's a million safety protocols. Like you could get vaccinated. There's so many ways around it. It's like,
yeah. I mean, looking back, it probably was negotiation.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Well, when you said he was being, I didn't realize he was playing Batman.
Yeah, he's gonna be Batman. He's coming back
awesome.
as Batman, as the older Bruce Wayne. You get to see what happened in the universe since we've last seen him, and I guess he's going to be a mentor character, potentially going forward in the series, not just in this movie, but potentially going forward. But DC is so clueless on their own future.
100%.
Only God knows who's going to be Batman in like 3 years, because like they are still set. If now that he's ongoing, and I don't know if it'll actually be 2022, but within a short period of time they'll have 3 different Batman, because Batfleck is also supposed to be in this Flash movie. He's supposed to come, basically, like, I guess, run into a different universe, and then he'll be in with an older Batman and then come back and maybe have Robert Pattinson as Batman. Who knows? But yeah, so Ben Affleck is supposed to be in this, and then obviously Michael Keaton's supposed to be in this, and then Robert Pattinson has The Batman is coming out next year. So depending on when this comes out, there will be 3 Batmen all within like a year, which is insane.
That's really stupid, but it's very Warner Brothers. They are, they're very incompetent. And I mean, look, this is cool. I'm a Michael Keaton fan. Like I like Michael Keaton. I always thought he's a great actor. Beetlejuice is amazing. He's in that movie, the Tarantino movie, Jackie Brown. And he's great.
Jackie Brown. He's good in Jackie Brown.
Yeah, he's really good in that. He's great in Birdman. Like I love that movie.
I like that movie a lot too.
There's a lot. He's good as Batman, so it's cool. So, but him being there is awesome. But Ezra Miller is also going to be there.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's why they really did need Michael Keaton, because he's the draw to this movie. He's not just a side character, even though I don't expect him to have that huge of a role. But he's the draw. He's the star of this movie.
Like 2 hours of only Ezra Miller. Like he's the focus. Like, oh, I hate him.
He's not good.
Okay. Michael Keaton's talent agency, ICM Partners, has confirmed the actor will return as Batman in The Flash. The superhero film officially kicked off production in London on Monday, as revealed in an Instagram post from director Andres Muschietti. Muschietti. As the Wrap first exclusively reported, Keaton was in talks to return to the role of Batman after nearly 30 years to appear alongside Ezra Miller in Warner Brothers' The Flash. But Keaton set the fandom on fire last month when he hinted in an interview with Deadline that he might not do The Flash because of concerns about COVID-19. To be honest with you, what worries me more than anything about all this stuff? It's COVID. Keaton said at the time, I'm more concerned. I keep my eye more on the COVID situation in the UK than anything. That will determine everything. And so that's why I'm living outside the city here on 17 acres, staying away from everybody else, because the COVID thing has got me really concerned. So that's my thing about all projects. I look at it and go, is this thing going to kill me literally? And if it doesn't, then we walk, or then we talk.
Yeah. Now I'm starting to read it, and that was definitely negotiation. And I hope he got more money out of it. I mean, or it was BS. Because I was just trying to look it up on Bounty. I forgot they did. Apparently, there was talks that Christian Bale, in the meantime, since in between this being confirmed and that statement, there was a rumor that maybe Christian Bale might be in his place, which would have really been bad. They don't know what they're doing as Warner Brothers.
They don't know what they're doing. They just want the gimmick.
Yes. They just watch it. We have Batman and Superman. Just watch our stuff because there's Batman and Superman.
And they refuse to put anyone in charge who actually knows the comics and knows the fandom. Like all of them are like this. Like there's so few people in powerful positions that like they would make them so much money, but their egos and their wealth, they're so attached to being the one that makes the decision that they just keep fucking up.
Yeah. There's a lot of strength in just saying, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna hire, a Kevin Feige and let him just do everything and just walk away.
Like I know that there's a huge audience for like female anime and it's like female driven anime. Like if I was in charge of a studio that wanted to like make that next thing, like either I would spend a lot of time getting to know these properties and who watches them and why, or I would do the easier thing and just hire someone who already does and let them make the creative choices.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised Hollywood hasn't really rated. I mean, I'm glad for the anime fans, but I'm surprised they haven't really rated the anime. I mean, there's movies off anime. They had the Ghost in the Shell or whatever.
They blow it every time. That's why it's not worth the risk. And they get all that backlash. They're terrible at it. They're so bad with anime.
But because they're not trying. They're still trying to make Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't. Hollywood doesn't realize how out of touch it is in and of itself, and how out of touch it's been for a couple decades.
They think the opposite. They think they're leading the conversation.
They didn't really learn from the MCU. They think they did. They say, "Oh, quirky stuff."
Learn from any of it. They didn't learn from Ghostbusters.
No.
They didn't learn from all their failures. They didn't learn from Star Wars. They didn't learn about any of it.
I'm not even talking. I'm talking for creatively. What made the MCU good is that even though they took tons of liberties with this story, Tony Stark in the movies is not really Tony Stark in the comics, but they still kept everything true to the spirit of the characters. They did everything. The costumes, especially early on, they started to fade, but for the most part, were as accurate as they could be, and they made it look and feel like a comic book world. One of the big comic booky things the MCU did is make everything in the same universe where they could cross over to one another. And they really, Kevin Feige really cared about the lore of the comic books and tried to bring that spirit to life. But as it went on, they started to add their Hollywood tropes to it. Oh, well, we have to do this, and that, why couldn't the X-Men movies? If you remember those, none of them had their original costumes. And with a lot of anime, they do a similar thing. We just talked about Scarlett Johansson. She's a beautiful young lady, but she's not Japanese, so it's going to make it really awkward when you try to do Ghost in the Shell. And I get it. You need to have and I'm not saying this from a woke standpoint, but it was really weird hearing this white girl called what was it? Keep fucking up her name. Major K, starts with a K. Somebody in the chat's gonna say it. Whatever the protagonist of Ghost in the Shell name.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the character's name.
I want to say Kiwasagi, but I know that's not it. It's Kusha something. But whatever it was a Japanese name, and it was like, okay, if just do the movie how you. This makes no sense.
What I don't understand, they're so stupid. It's like you would have such a slam dunk with the woke community and the critics, Kusanagi, the critics that you are so afraid of, that you're so concerned about satisfying that you falling all over yourself to virtue signal left and right. Just cast fucking an Asian in the role. It's so easy. It's so how hard. It's like it's sitting there right there for you, and you can't even do it then. It's like, ugh.
If you want to get something that's woke, a female-led anime, there's 2 fucking check boxes off rip. You have a Asian woman, and it's already has a built-in fan base.
And it's an Asian adaptation, so it's like it's not even a stretch. It's amazing how stupid they are.
Yeah, and how simple it would be, and just stay true to whatever the property is.
Oh. Anyway, back to the article. Keaton first played Batman in Tim Burton's 1989 blockbuster of the same name, which was a critical and financial success that changed how superhero films were viewed and paved the way for the genre's future box office domination. Keaton's casting was initially controversial among fans as he was primarily known for broad comedies, but his performance, particularly how he used his comedic background in his portrayal of Bruce Wayne to differentiate it from Batman, was widely praised and is now recognized as a seminal moment in comic book films. This writer's pretty good. Keaton last played Batman in 1992's Batman Returns, but quit the role during development of a third film after Burton was pushed out as director. Burton was pushed out as director and replaced with Joel Schumacher, who took the series in a campier direction with 1995's Batman Forever and its reviled 1997 follow-up Batman and Robin. The Flash will disregard the latter 2 entries entirely and explore what Keaton's version of Batman has been up to since we last saw him, loosely based on the 2011 DC comic crossover Flashpoint, previously announced as the film's title at Comic-Con 2017, 4 years ago. The story sees Ezra Miller's Barry Allen. I don't like that phrase. Travel back in time to prevent the death of his mother. The result, Allen inadvertently creates another universe protected by Keaton's Batman, now 30 years older.
Yeah.
I am so fucking sick of alternate universes and multiverses and
man. If you want to confuse a fucking audience, make it an alternate universe. If you want to confuse an audience and throw away a bunch of storytelling that you've already done, create an alternate universe. I'm pretty sick of it as well.
Played out. It's such a played out concept. Oh, well, alternate timelines, and it's
maybe, not to go conspiratorial. We talked about the Mandela Effect. Maybe this is like some predictive programming for when they reveal, like, hey, you know how you said we're in an alternate universe? We're actually in an alternate universe. We turned on a certain thing, didn't go well, and welcome to your own alternate universe, everybody. And maybe this is predictive programming for that. Outside of that,
that's why we have like so many content like that, like so many depictions, because it's like, actually, we've just been getting you. We've been sort of softening the beach.
Yeah.
It did happen like that. There's no way Trump should have been president. This is all crazy town.
Yeah. There's no way Twitter should be what it is. just nothing. It's all a mistake. Everything is just, so yeah. But outside of that, yeah, I'm taking alternate universe. But I do want to see Michael Keaton come back. I am a little shocked that he's coming back because one of the things I did, when I saw that comment, my thought was, he's been one of the big things with him not doing Batman is he didn't like the script. He hated the whatever it was that came after the third one. He had that script and he didn't like it. Yeah. And Man of War just said aliens are real because that UFO thing's got confirmed.
Hey, have they done an exozone? When was the last time they did an exozone? I feel like it's been months. Have you heard them mention it?
I think they mentioned it recently because of the UFO thing. Because the Pentagon releasing UFO photos. And no, wait, down. They're starting production already. So they say they started Monday. You said it'll be 70 by the time they're filming. I mean, I'm not sure when he'll start filming, but they're already starting at least pre-production.
Snortopoopas Cuba is holding out hope that he's going to wake up in his prime universe someday and polar bears will be in charge. Well, look, you run an entire continent, so I mean that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Literally cool. Bearconda forever.
I get it. 24/7 Future Media is giving me like a history lesson on Jeff Johns at Warner Brothers. Dude, let's talk about that on Friday because I don't really know much about that, and I know Thoth knows all that shit, so we can have a good conversation about that. We'll save that. Ascension Dildo says, can't wait for Culture Crime Fighters alternative universe content where Matt is a woke Asian woman and Vidge is a white supremacist. Oh, God. Something that weird I would love to watch. That would be really funny. Like a duo where like one guy is just like a totally out there, like, disconnected from reality, like super racist, and she's just like a really entitled, like woke. I would watch that all day long.
Man, I wish we could produce that as a skit.
That would be great.
See, that's a way of doing both things. We can make something that's genuinely funny, poke our nose at woke things.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Oh,
let's hold that.
This
happened on our stream, so you get no credit for that if we do it, okay? Yeah. Thank you for the suggestion, but it's ours now. We own it.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's a good idea. Anything more on the Michael Keaton?
I think I had a point. Oh yeah, just the fact that he didn't like the script.
Oh yeah,
and I can't imagine that this script is going to be good. And I also thought that he did Birdman. He kind of redeemed himself as just being the Batman guy. He started doing all these serious movies again. A lot of them were pretty good. What was that one about the Catholic? I remember that being kind of good. He did it a few years ago. It was like a newspaper. But he was doing those type of movies, you know what I mean? More serious actor movies. And I thought that maybe a part of him just didn't want to go back to this crazy world where he kind of has finally, broken the shackles of being Batman.
Yeah, but he's also 70, you're getting old. I don't know. Maybe he's just excited to be back. I mean, he did do the Spider-Man movie as Falcon or Bird
Vulture.
Vulture.
Yeah.
Which was he came back into that. Maybe he had fun doing the superhero thing. I don't know.
Yeah. And Birdman was a big boost.
Ascension Dildo says it's a big boost for him. It was huge. It kind of revitalized him. It was like his Pulp Fiction, like, to Travolta, where it kind of brought him back in the mainstream. I think it did. And it's like he must have some connection to that character and that portrayal because Birdman was kind of about Batman and it was kind of like a weird parallel to his life, kind of like a washed up actor, like who used to be really famous. So there's kind of like bits and pieces in there.
Yeah, there's tons. I mean, remember because they had Edward Norton because he quit, and so they even put that whole movie kind of had a lot of it was a lot of realness into it.
That was a great movie.
That really is a good movie. Anyone who's it was very meta. It was very meta. But anyone who's like into being a creative, I think can appreciate that movie. Because it's really all about the struggle of making something commercial and making something artistic in that battle between that.
Yeah, and it's artsy and weird, but I think it works.
Yeah,
it doesn't go. I don't think it's too pretentious.
No, it's artsy in a very fun way. It's like, oh, this is a creative way of doing that.
And it doesn't ultimately have some super serious point to make. It's not
No.
saying look at the struggle of the artist. Blah. It's like it's about that, but it's also kind of a joke, and it's
almost
really
making
works.
fun of that at the same time. Like,
and they have a gimmick where it's all supposed to feel like one continuous take, but it really adds a level of like pacing and like upbeat movement to the whole to the like this flow of the story.
Yeah,
and, it works. I think it works. Whereas I heard in like 1917, it just kind of feels like a gimmick. I haven't seen that, but
I haven't seen that either, and I want to.
Those oneers often like when it's just like, whoa, look what we accomplished. It's just like, all right. I mean,
you gotta have a reason for it.
Yeah, this is storytelling. I'm not here applauding your camera prowess.
Yeah,
I want to be entertained.
Yeah.
All right, 7:30. Want to wrap it up?
Yeah, we can wrap it up.
All right. Well, if you guys are not subbed to Vigilante Williamson, make sure that you are, because next week we'll be on his channel, 6 Eastern, 5 Central. Culture Crime Fighters is a weekly swapped show. We have the Cocktail Lounge this Friday. Keep an eye out for that. Be there. We're going to definitely be talking about the Mortal Kombat movie. So
definitely,
and full spoilers. So if if you want to be in on that conversation, and I hope you do, check it out.
Real quick, I'm gonna have to make accounts because fucking 24/7 is only 3 subs. He's at 397. Please sub to 24/7. It bugs me. I'm gonna make fake accounts and get cousins to sub if you guys don't. But please, I'm tossing this link back. Before you leave, please get 247 to 400 so we can be like twins.
Boom.
Come on, guys.
Twinsies.
Come on, you guys. You can do it. I believe in you. I believe in you all. Let's get him to 400. He's earned it.
I believe.
Yeah. One way or another, we get him to 400.
Absolutely. And one last thing. This is Culture Crime Fighters. We are a culture crimes task force so powerful, so far-reaching, not even the most dastardly of villains can escape. Our goal is to identify and defeat all culture criminals wherever they lurk and destroy them. For too long have these cretins carried out their nefarious deeds, and we will sit for it no longer. Beware. You may commit your culture crimes, but if you do, justice will be served at the hands of the Culture Crime Fighters.
Hell. Peace out, everybody. Strength and honor.
Peace out, everybody. See y'all soon. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. You guys are the shit. Love you all. Man of War 665, Lord Thoth, Just Another Red Shirt, Darius Munchausen, 24/7 Fusion Media. Keep an eye on him on Friday. Sentient Dildo, Mark D with a C, Snorter Poopus, Android Scanner, The Islington Girl, New Bomb Turk, The Wake Down. Everybody, you guys are great. We'll see you all next time. Have a great night.
All right. Peace.
Peace.